Christchurch, the Garden City, home to some of New Zealand's memorable sporting moments. Will we see another one this afternoon? Good afternoon and welcome to Hagley Oval for this, the first ever Black Clash. New Zealand cricketers playing New Zealand rugby players. And my name's Jeremy Wells and alongside me is Matt Heath.
Thanks, Jeremy. Great to be here at Hagley Oval. Big crowd in early. They're in for an absolute treat today. A couple of places spare, so if you're in the city, come down, but be quick because it's going to be rammed and it's going to be a great day, Jeremy.
Some amazing players on show today, Matt Heath. Former Black Clash players and of course some rugby players as well, some current All Blacks. Who's in the cricket team?
Our key players for me are Captain Stephen Fleming. You've got Grant the Hairy Javelin Elliott, Luke Ronke, Aaron Smith, the All Black halfback who swapped sides earlier in the week, Nathan McCullum, and of course Big Carl Mills.
There's some very exciting players there, some people we haven't seen for a while. In the rugby team, Brendan McCullum and Karen Reid, of course David Hussey from Australia, Geordie Barrett and Bodie Barrett. That's going to be interesting to see them, how well they play cricket. Ali Williams, Izzy Dagg, and of course Afisa Tanu'u. Some very, very exciting matchups there, very exciting indeed. Let's go now to Scotty J. Stevenson, who's standing by with the rugby coach, Sir Graham Henry.
Well, joining me here, Graham Henry, Sir Graham Henry, manager of this motley crew of rugby aficionados. And Ted, you're no slouch on the cricket pitch yourself, but first of all, you've managed to drag Brendan McCullum across to the rugby side. Give us a sense of how you managed that.
Well, he's a rugby player, Scotty. So this last game of competitive sport in New Zealand was for Matamata Senior B side at fullback. Hasn't played cricket since then in New Zealand. So, and back in the day, you know, he was a champion. You know, they thought he was better than Dan Carter. I suppose you've heard of Dan Carter, have you? He was quite good.
Never heard of him. How was he on the cricket pitch?
I'm not so sure, but that was the talk. So, you know, obviously a rugby player.
That's fair enough too, and you have got great powers of persuasion, as a lot of people well know. But what about today? I've been in the nets, I've seen the boys warming up. There might be a couple of wild cards in this team. Who are we looking out for?
Well, I think, you know, everybody's got to take responsibility. I just can't name one or two. They've all got to do the business, don't they? And there's a big crowd here, great expectation. You know, I just think hopefully we'd field first, because I think they need to get a feel for the environment and a feel for cricket, because they haven't played for a long time. So I think that's the first strategy: win the toss and field. And then when we bat, I want McCullum to bat for 20 overs. And if he bats for 20 overs, I think we've got a good show.
I think you do as well, Ted, and I know you, and one run victory will be enough.
Oh, as long as it's a great game of footy and we win, it's fine. We playing footy or cricket?
No, we're doing cricket today. We're doing cricket. We're going to leave Sir Graham go and get this team under control.
Thank you.
Big crowd starting to gather now at Hagley Oval, and what a lovely atmosphere it is here in Christchurch. It's a beautiful place to watch cricket. Now, many of you may be asking, how on earth did this whole idea come about? Why on earth are we watching All Blacks playing former Black Caps? Well, you might be surprised to find out that it was actually the brainchild of former Black Caps captain Stephen Fleming.
The thoughts for the Black Clash game came really from a discussion with Faf du Plessis during the IPL. He was talking about a game that South Africa were playing, the Springboks versus the Proteas. And I had a look at some of the footage and it looked amazing, and I thought, well, we've got one of the greatest brands, one of the greatest teams of all time, the All Blacks. Wouldn't it be great to have something like that in New Zealand? So that's really where the idea grew, and it's grown now to become real. I'm massively excited about it. Pretty easy decision to have it in Christchurch. I'm a Cantabrian, I love the area. My heart is really here, and watching the rebuild and the growth of Christchurch again is exciting, but it also takes time, and I think one of the things that the city now needs is reason for people to come, and sporting events can do that. And Hagley Park, it's one of the world-class cricketing environments. Yeah, this ground was amazing. When I grew up, you used to have 4 or 5 games going at once, which used to sort of combine on the boundaries, so watching your back as well as watching the game was always a priority. But now it's a world-class cricket stadium, and really proud to see what it's become. It should be celebrated to have it in Christchurch. Well, I think the rugby boys will stand up pretty well. They're confident. There's no doubt about that, and I guess if you've got a 90% win record, it's in your blood. But Israel Dagg has talked about bowling sort of 140 Ks, he's always said that, and being an opening batter, it's going to be interesting, that first delivery. So it's just seeing how some of the school days when they played probably provincial cricket, I know a couple of them went quite close to playing first class cricket, just seeing how those skills now have grown, or whether it's just a little bit of huff and puff. Brilliant, thank you. See ya. Our bowling attack will have to be up to it, but it's whether they've got the subtleties of being able to hit the gaps and manoeuvre the ball. That'll be the interesting part, but I have no doubt they'll have power. One thing we don't want to do is to have any broken fingers or anything that's going to cause some problems in a World Cup year. You'd be public enemy number one. So we've gone for an off-pace attack. I think there will be a little bit of chat, a little bit of sledging. I think it's just the competitive nature of professional athletes, especially some who haven't been in the limelight for a while. They might get overexcited and use their mouth a little bit, but it's a gentleman's game, isn't it? So I hope it'll be played in the right spirit.
Families enjoying the sunshine here at Hagley Oval. Now let's go out to the centre with Scotty J. Stevenson, who's going to be there for the toss with the captains Stephen Fleming and Kieran Reid.
Well, time for the all-important toss here at the Black Clash. Our match referee, Sheldon Eden Whaitiri, has the coin. Steve Fleming, you have the toss. Kieran Reid, you have the call.
Heads.
Heads is the call, and heads is it.
We'll have a bowl, mate.
Fair enough too, Rito. Any reason why?
Oh, look, just probably unsure of the conditions and the pitch, and just wanted to, see what a pass score is really.
You like to chase?
Yeah, I think we look for our team. We're probably more of a chasing team, so looking forward to that.
Who's going to open the bowling for you, Rito?
Israel Dagg will be steaming in with the wind.
Fair enough too. Good luck today, mate. Thanks, Kieran. Steve Fleming, you've lost the toss, mate, but you've had a few of those moments in your time. Are you unhappy about batting first?
No, it's not a surprise. Look, so the Rugby boys, the All Blacks, so I see the second half is where they made a move, so I'm not surprised they're chasing the game. Looks a good track, so the trend is to bowl first so you can chase, and they got some exciting players, so we've just got to get a good score. I don't know what it is, 180, 200 would be great, but they're a little bit of an unknown.
Can't wait to see you out there, guys. Good luck today, Stephen. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please would you now welcome the Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters to say a few words.
Good afternoon and welcome to the opening of what promises to be a highly entertaining and competitive T20 fixture here at Hagley Oval with so many of our iconic sports stars. In celebration of Kiwi sport, the teams will contest the Lormu Crow Trophy, a fitting tribute to two of New Zealand's greatest sporting heroes who tragically left us far too soon. Thanks also to the fantastic job by Duco, David Higgins in particular, and Stephen Fleming in turning an idea into reality. And thanks to all the fans and corporate sponsors for their support. It's also great to see the match being broadcast on free-to-air TV, so all Kiwis can see the game here today. Now, as Racing Minister, one thing I've learned is it's very important to back the right horse. And as a politician, one thing is important also, don't go offending sporting stars and their fans. So let's put it this way, make it be a game of two halves and may the best side win. And to the Black Caps and the All Blacks here, remember there are 2 World Cups to win this year. So play hard and fair today, but don't peak too soon and don't get injured. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the majestic Hagley Oval in Christchurch for the first ever Black Clash, cricket versus rugby, in what promises to be an afternoon of hilarity, fierce competition, and let's be honest, potential humiliation. I can tell you it's a lovely day in Christchurch, a gentle breeze blowing across the ground, and the great news too, a capacity crowd in. And if the banter of last night's pre-game drinks is anything to go by, we're in for a very entertaining afternoon. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my alternative commentary collective cohorts, Matt Heath and Lee Hart. And lads, this should be fun.
Fantastic to be here, Jason Hoyt. I'll add resplendent to your majestic call around Hagley Oval. What a beautiful day, what a huge crowd, what a fantastic event, Lee Hart.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And what a resplendent comeback to Jason's resplendent intro there.
Can I just make the point too that Jeremy Wells looked resplendent as well.
He certainly
He's
did.
such a good-looking man, I think it's fair to say.
I'd just like to point out that I was on the camera as well there. Jason Hoyt, is anything you'd like to add around my appearance? I felt resplendent out there.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Matt Heath, you looked a little bit like you were wearing some sort of eye mascara or something. Either that or you had a very big night. But I tell you what, we had the pre-game drinks last night. We got to meet the players. And there was some big talk going on. It's interesting to note today they were a little more subdued, weren't they, the players, after the big chat from last night's drinks?
That's right, Jason. Looks like Stephen Fleming's going to be opening the batting here, of course, and facing first ball. Thoughts on that?
Well, he's a class player, Stephen Fleming. He's always been absolutely beautiful to watch, and it's so good to see him out on the cricket pitch again. And as we've mentioned, Hagley Park looking an absolute picture. And from your pitch report, Lee Hart, the pitch is an absolute belter. A road, my friend.
Yeah, a real road. It's not going to change throughout the match, that's for sure. Very firm indeed. Bit of rain last night, about 1:30 in the evening when we were heading home getting a kebab, Matt. But I don't think that's going to affect the match at all at this stage.
Well, Izzy Dagg, I believe, is going to be opening up the attack for Team Rugby, and there's been a lot of chit-chat about Israel Dagg. The rumour, of course, when he was about 14 or 15 years of age, he could get the ball down 140 to 145. So here we go as he comes in now, bowling to the great Stephen Fleming, and he opens the face, and already a bit of a misfield there at a wideish gully, and it goes to third man for a single.
Yes, of course, 140 was the legend around Izzy Dagg. We don't have a speed radar here today, so we're running the rough guess speed radar, the RGSR. Lee Hart,
yeah, that's
rough
right.
Guess on the speed of that
A
delivery?
rough guess, probably about 110, I would say. He's going to wind it up. He's going to take his time. I spoke to him earlier. He said he's going to take 3 or 4 balls, maybe in the second over, really try and bring that pace up.
Well, you don't want to blow a glute or something like that early on in the match, and he's going to be bowling to the great Nathan Astle now, and in he comes. This is down the leg side, and it'll be called wide, and a bit of a bumble from the keeper there, and wide called. So Izzy Dagg just taking a little bit of time to find his range.
And Izzy Dagg's hair's come back nicely, hasn't it? It was heading backwards, and now it's coming forward. It's almost Bowden Barrett-like, heading down his forehead, Lee Hart.
Yeah, that's right. It's popular among cricketers getting that sorted, and they've done a great job.
Well, in he comes again to Astle, and this is a better delivery, just tucked off the pad of Astle straight to the man at square leg, and there's no run. I had a great chat to Bodie Barrett this morning, lads.
Did you?
I congratulated him on his recent nuptials, of course. And we were talking about Geordie Barrett, and boy, is he built like a brick outhouse. And
did you go to the wedding, Jace?
No, I wasn't invited, sadly. I don't know what that was about. I had a bit of a word to Bodie about it. As in comes Izzy again. This is a wild delivery down the leg side. It'll be called wide, and they'll get an extra run as well. As there was a bit of a balls up, let's be frank, by the keeper. And another wide there from Izzy Dagg. But he was telling me that Geordie Barrett, another big unit, you know, he gets the ball down at about 130 to 135. But as we know about Geordie Barrett, of course, he's a feisty character.
Yes, he
and
is.
if you give him a bit of niggle, apparently, he can get pretty fired up. And so I'll be intrigued to see the big man bowling this afternoon. Oh, a better delivery and a stifled appeal from Israel Dagg.
That was a slow ball, wasn't it, Jace? Sort of Yorker length.
Do you think he's getting tired, Lee Hart? That's his the later part of the over. He's bowled a couple of wides there. Do you think tiring? I mean, this is new for Izzy Dagg for a while.
You'd like to think you get through the first over without tiring too much, but we just don't know at this stage.
And he comes again now. This is short and wide, and a little flash from Stephen Fleming. And I tell you what, doesn't Stephen Fleming look in tremendous nick? He looks exactly the same as he did 15 years ago. It's interesting seeing some of the former players. A few of them have developed man breasts, the odd bear gut, and things like that. But Stephen Fleming is live as ever.
The Cliff Richard of cricket, they call him.
but was always a very classy batsman and beautiful to watch as Dag. Oh, that's an absolute beauty, and that must be very close. A Yorker length delivery, and Flem played all over the top of it. And
are they going to take that upstairs?
Is there the option to take it upstairs?
I saw it upstairs. We're upstairs. We're upstairs. There's other people upstairs. No, there's no upstairs, so they can't take it. I'd have taken that upstairs if
I
there
would
wasn't
be
upstairs.
very glad to see a replay there. That is plum. That has got to be plum. And Stephen Fleming, very lucky there to survive that big appeal from Izzy Dag as he's warming up now, and this is clipped by Fleming out to cover. There's no run. Wow, what a first over from Israel Dag, and the team cricket 4 without loss. Welcome back to Hagley Oval, and Geordie Barrett is coming into the attack. And I spoke to Geordie Barrett this morning outside the hotel room, and I couldn't help visualising what it was like to try and tackle Geordie Barrett at full tip down the sideline. And I came to the conclusion, Lee Hart, that the only way I could possibly stop Geordie Barrett would be to crawl into the fetal position and hope that Geordie Barrett tripped over the top of me.
Yeah.
He really is a very large man, as are all the Barretts. Good Taranaki farm stock.
A lot of good cricket talent in this rugby team, and a lot of people don't know this. Kieran Reid, for example, he could have gone either way to rugby or cricket.
He's got a nice aggressive approach to Astle, who whips this off his pad, and it dribbles out behind square for a single. Fisa Tanu'u, of course, the wicketkeeper for Team Rugby.
Yeah, I mean, Big Kaz, of course, he had the choice. He could go to rugby or cricket. He was good at either. He obviously chose rugby. I had a similar situation around about the same age. I was terrible at both cricket and rugby. I had to decide which one I was going to stick with. I went with cricket. Well, in the end, I just pretty much chose drinking.
Yeah, was that the path you decided to go down, was it?
Well, speaking of drinking, it was a fantastic cocktail party last night. We've been talking about it a little bit, and some of the rugby players were pretty confident last night, weren't they?
Yeah, they were talking a big game, Matty Heath, for sure, as Geordie Barrett bowls to Fleming, who slashes this behind the man at point, out to the man in the deep. And I tell you what, Geordie Barrett, what a lovely bowling action he's got. He's firmly built, he's got good height, getting a bit of bounce, and he's always got that competitive streak. I'll tell you what, you know there's going to be a lot of fun out there, but all these guys are top sportsmen, and once the competitive juices start flowing, it'll be all on, I believe.
Well,
Geordie Barrett again bowls out. Whoa, a big looping bouncer to Nathan Astle, and it goes through to Fisa Tanu'u, and there's no run.
Well, that last delivery excluded the answer to the question, can the rugby players play cricket? The answer is yes.
That's right. And big boundaries, of course, here at Hagley Oval. Jace, what size would you say they were?
I'd say regular size, probably. Lee Hart is. This is another short wide delivery from Barrett, and it's called wide by Billy Bowden. But yeah, quite big boundaries here, actually. But who can remember, of course, the great Nathan Astle when he was in full flight?
Yep.
It was a thing of beauty to watch. He was one of our greatest one-day batsmen. And he, too, looks in pretty good nick. He still plays the game, he was telling me, out in the middle earlier. And Geordie Barrett, though, putting him under the hammer at the moment. This is down the leg side, a little flick off the pad, and it crashes into Fisa Tanu'u, who stumbles slightly, and they'll come through for a leg bye.
Throughout the match, of course, I'll be bringing you stats as they come to hand, not just with this match, but other sporting events from the past. Stats on these players, both rugby and cricket. Just need to get the stats machine, the stats generator fired up.
Well, you're definitely our stats man, Lee Hart, as Geordie Barrett comes in again and bowls a nice delivery, flicked elegantly off the pads by Fleming, and that will be the first boundary. Lovely shot. Oh, that brings back memories. It certainly does. You don't bowl on the pads of Stephen Fleming, and he whips it away behind square for 4.
Well, I've got a stat here, and I shouldn't share it. I was going to say that Geordie Barrett's 6'5" and 100 kgs with 9 caps for the All Blacks, but you're the stats man, so I'll leave that alone.
If you could stick to the animal facts, Matty, that would be great. As Geordie Barrett bowls to Fleming, and he gets a big top edge. It's in the air. 2 fieldsmen converging on it. Oh, what a catch! What a catch! And is that Israel Dag? No, it's the great Richie McCaw. Brilliant! Richie
McCaw.
The man's a genius. There's nothing he can do wrong, the great Richie McCaw. What a catch.
Richie is in fact a rolling sub. They've made a concession for Richie to come on. And look at that.
Well, it was a short delivery from Geordie Barrett, and Stephen Fleming rocked onto the back foot. That was a difficult catch, and the former All Black captain takes an absolute stunner.
Typical of Richie McCaw to do something awesome. McCawsome Hedgehog, some people call him because of that haircut of his that sticks right up. But that ball nearly squeezed out, but he held onto it because, well, he's the greatest of all time.
Well, that's right. His job is to inspire this team. That's what he does so well. Don't we think they've got a chance now? Early wicket, that's what they needed.
Well, it's a big wicket too, Stephen Fleming. And here comes the hairy javelin, and he's a talented player in his own right. Of course, the batsman crossed with that one going high in the air. And boy, I tell you what, lads, I like the cut of the jib of Geordie Barrett. He looks a good cricketer to me. A very good cricketer indeed. But Richie McCaw, you're right, Matt Heath. I mean, is there anything he does wrong?
Well, he's got this helicopter parked in the car park, and if we do get rain, we're not going to, but if we did, he was offering to dry out the wicket, just hover above and clean it up. I mean, the man can do anything.
So Geordie Barrett again coming into great Nathan Astle, and he gets a Yorker which he digs out, and they'll scamper through for a quick single, and that's the end of the over with team cricket 14 for 1. Welcome back to Hagley Oval. It's Izzy Dag again, bowling to Nathan Astle, who plays a nice defensive stroke. I would absolutely love to see a replay of that Richie McCaw catch. It was dug in short by Geordie Barrett, and the great Stephen Fleming rocked onto the back foot and pulled it. Got a top edge. Here we go. And Richie McCaw running backwards and over his head takes a sensational catch. Brilliant stuff. As Izzy Dag comes in again, and this is full, and a big swipe from Astle, and there's no run.
I've got to say, the pressure's coming on the cricketers here. Obviously, the pressure was on them to teach the rugby players a lesson, but you'd have to say, Lee Hart, they're under the pump at the moment.
That's right, and these rugby players have certainly shown they can bowl. We've seen some great Yorker length balls, short balls, some pace.
Well, that's the thing about top-class sportsmen. You generally find that they can sort of turn their hand to anything, as Daggy comes in again and bowls a wide, pretty poor delivery, let's be honest, down the leg side, and it's called wide.
Israel Dag, very similar bowling action to the great 1944 player Peter Sidetable. You remember him from the 1944 tour of Africa and the subcontinent during the war.
I believe a much underrated bowler, Lee Sidetable. I believe he was one of New Zealand's greats. This is a good delivery from Daggy, and Nathan Astle opens the face, and a little bit of a balls up in the field there, and they'll get a single.
Yes, well, the rugby players were saying last night that they were going to smash the cricketers. I assume that was smash them in terms of winning the game, as opposed to a bit of rugby style biff.
That's right, and a great crowd here, of course. I noticed some fans over there enjoying the hot spring spas. The world's #1 salmon spa pools, of course, hot spring.
So Dag now bowling to the hairy javelin, Grant Elliott. It was a pretty poor shot, actually. It was short of the length, and he tried to pull it through mid-wicket. Made no contact.
Do you think the cricketers, fellas, might be just taking this a little bit lightly? Maybe they're swinging the bat a little bit too much. They've got their eye in. Maybe they're underestimating this team.
Well, there is that possibility for sure, but as I was saying, you know, these top-flight sportsmen can generally turn their hand to any kind of sport, particularly someone like Izzy Dag, apparently, who could play anything, table tennis, whatever you like, full and driven by Elliott down to mid-on, no run. Did you ever sort your spa pool issues out? Speaking of spa pools, Lee Hunt,
Yeah, no, there's no issues at all at the moment. There's a hot spring spa on my one as well.
Oh, it is?
It's great. Had it 2-3 years now. Swear by it. Have our family meetings in there.
Very good. Israel Dag again. Bowls to Elliott, who cuts down to third man, and a diving save by, who is that? Can't quite make out who that is, and they'll get another single. Well, as mentioned, a great crowd in near capacity. In fact, I would say it is capacity.
As well. fuck. Doesn't matter what happens today, you got that in the pocket. Huh? I'll swap you. So it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the day, he's got that in the pocket. Yeah, that's down, eh? I reckon you've got to probably keep that side and keep that.
Welcome back to Hagley Oval, just in time to see Geordie Barrett bowl to the hairy Javelin, who tucks this off his hip backward a square for a single. He really doesn't look out of place, Geordie Barrett, does he?
No, certainly not.
Geordie Barrett comes in again short and slapped away by Nathan Astor. One bounce for four, lovely shot. Boy, that brings back some memories. Just rocked onto the back foot, and, well, of how he used to be, Lee.
Right.
He just rocked onto the back foot and slapped it over cover for four.
Brought back some memories of my recent divorce for me, Lee Hart.
Yeah, how's that going? Is that...
Actually, I don't want to. It's probably not the forum to talk about it, really.
You want to have a chat off here about it, perhaps?
I would like that.
Geordie Barrett again comes into Nathan Astor, who comes down the crease and gets a smack in the shoulder for his troubles. And there's no run. I was speaking to Nathan Astor last night at length. In fact, I couldn't get him to shut up, to be honest. And the Komodo Dragon.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he's very much looking forward to potentially bowling to his brother. And he informed me he wasn't going to bowl his big fat looping off spinners. He was going to bowl seam up at full pace if he gets to the chance at bowling to his brother. Oh, what a top nut that was from Geordie Barrett through to the keeper, no run.
Was there anyone you didn't talk to last night, Jason Hoyt? It sounds like you're just pesting around everyone at the cocktail party and then hanging out the front of the hotel and talking to anyone that was, heading out for breakfast.
Well, I must admit, Matty, that I did get a few autographs, and you get to talk to the likes of your great Richie McCaw, Kieran Reid, the All Black skipper. It's a tremendous thrill, it really is, as Geordie Barrett bowls a full delivery down the leg side, and it's called wide.
I tried to talk to Ali Williams at one point, but he's so tall. He's 6'6". He it's like he couldn't hear me. It was sort of a Romeo and Juliet type situation with me yelling up from the bush and him not being able to hear me. And I was probably trying to talk to him for about half an hour and just didn't get a single word back from him. Just that height difference was too large.
Geordie Barrett again to Astle, and he chops down on this ball. It's an under edge and there's no run.
I think you might find, Matt, it might have been the level of conversation more so than the height difference. I mean, you were telling a fairly tedious story.
Was it the one about the camping?
Yeah.
The camping one? Yeah.
Well,
I've heard that 10 times and it was boring the first time I heard it.
Well, Jason Hoyt, you're about the same height as me. Did you have any issues talking to the taller people like Geordie and Ali?
Well, I'll be honest with you, as Barrett comes in again. What a lovely delivery. What a glorious drive from Nathan Astle. Beats the man at cover, and it's rolling out towards the boundary, and that'll be four, despite the heroic dive.
Welcome back to Hagley Oval, where the cricketers are 27 for 1. There's been a change of bowler, actually. Is the new bowler, number 5. Just having a look here, actually, it's not easy. Kalen Boshier. Now, that's right, Kalen Boshier plays a little bit of cricket and rugby as well. Plays for the Chiefs, I believe. Interesting to see what sort of pace he gets it down at. And welcome to the commentary position, Lee Baker.
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, Kalen plays for under-19 New Zealand cricket.
So he pulls it away in the air. Didn't quite time it, but it's bouncing away there towards the boundary. And he'll just come back for 2.
Yeah, plenty of bounce on this pitch, fellas. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few catches out deep. Really going to have to find that boundary, the big boundaries. And I think we saw Richie McCaw's brilliant catch earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few more catches on that in this match.
I tell you what, Lee, I had 100% confidence that Richie McCaw was going to take that catch. I actually thought it was hit so high by Stephen Fleming that I wouldn't be surprised if Richie McCaw got up there in his chopper.
That's right.
Of course, he flies helicopters and claim the catch up there.
Here's Boshier again as Astle advances down the wicket, but you can't beat the man at mid-wicket. There's no run.
I'll tell you one person who's not playing in this, slightly disappointing due to his ongoing illness, is Terry Salamanderman.
Terry Salamanderman, what's the illness? What's taken Terry down, Lee?
Well, as you know, he's got like a lizard skin
This one's wide down the leg side from Bouchier. Called wide too.
Which means his skin, he can't, much like a lizard, he can't moisten his skin. He needs to stand under like a sprinkler or a hose to keep himself cool. He can overheat, and that condition has got slightly worse.
Here's Bouchier again, bowling to Astle, and this is pulled away by Astle. High in the air, and a catch opportunity, and it's been put down by Barrett. That's Geordie Barrett down there, a deep backward square. Tough chance though, especially with that swirling easterly breeze which is coming across Hagley Oval. He'll be disappointed though, it was an opportunity.
Not surprised, Jerry. That was very low. I do expect the All Blacks to be good under the high ball though, Lee.
Yeah, you'd expect that, but as Jerry said, you've got the wind coming in from the starboard side there. It's always tough.
There's that Grant Elliott advances down the wicket and smashes him straight back over his head for 6. What a shot from the hairy javelin. Grant Elliott broke the shackles. And the cricket is now 38 for 1.
Shades of the shot that took New Zealand to the World Cup final, Lee. Of course, we called that match.
Yes, we did.
We weren't actually at the ground. We were banned.
Here's Bouchier again as the javelin gives himself some room, tries to help it round the corner. It's fielded by big Ali Williams. Looking forward to Ali Williams bowling. Saw him in the nets earlier on. It's 38 for 1. So it's going to be a change of bowling from the Fred Goodall end. It's going to be Richie McCaw, who I believe bowls little left arm mediums. And he'll be bowling with the breeze, just going across from fine leg to mid-off. Should assist the ball that goes away from the right-hander.
I wouldn't be surprised if Richard gets a wicket here. There's nothing he can do wrong on the sporting field. See that confidence he's got now after that catch.
Not only that, Lee, but the confidence that comes from being a World Cup winner, a multiple World Cup winner. If you go head-to-head with the World Cup winners in this two teams,
right.
it's 7-0. 7 of the rugby team have played in World Cup winning teams. Unfortunately, none of the cricketers just yet.
Here comes Richie McCaw, and that one's a little bit wide to start with. It just moves away as well in the air. Probably a little bit nervous. There's a big crowd here at Hagley Oval. Certainly it's the largest crowd I'm sure Richie McCaw's played cricket in front of.
Yep.
Here he is again, McCaw, over the wicket to Astle, and Astle drives. It's partially stopped there, and there's no run. Let's have a look at Richie McCaw's action. It's reasonably loose. He likes to come in a little bit wide of the crease. Short run as well, probably only about 10 paces. As Astle goes down the wicket and launches it over, here's a chance. And what a catch! What a catch! Is that Kieran Reid? It is Kieran Reid. And they have got their catching mitts on today, have the rugby players. A difficult chance as Nathan Astle skied it high in the air. Kieran Reid running back.
What a great one for the books there, Jerry. Bowles, ex-All Black captain, caught, current All Black captain.
Another fingertip beauty from the rugby players. This one's just tickled away fine from Grant Elliott. I'll just take a single.
Lee and Jerry benched
well, no, sorry, that was 4. Beautifully timed from Grant Elliott.
Beautifully timed.
I'll tell you what, it's a great surface. It's perfectly luxuriant, perfectly manicured. And I'd say the only surface that can rival Hagley Oval here would be Izzy Dagg's head, now that he's had that head transplant.
It's very carpet-like, isn't it? And I had an uncle that used to sell the Cook Street Ferry carpets after they'd been vomited on.
Here's McCaw into the hairy javelin again, just mistimes the drive, squeezes it out on the onside for a single. It's fielded by Beauden Barrett. It's got a good arm by the looks of it, Beauden Barrett.
Wouldn't you just love to have your living room carpeted with Hagley Oval's turf?
Or the Cook Street Ferry ex-carpets. You'd clean them, of course, dry clean them, and sell them in sections for homes.
I imagine an amazing colour palette there, Lee.
Yeah.
Here's McCaw again. This time he's bowling to the new man Ronke, who hits uppishly through point. But that'll race away for 4. Good placement from the former Black Caps wicketkeeper. Just opened the face and guided it just behind point.
this is exactly what team cricket needs, some runs, and I just wonder what you guys think is a good score here at Hagley Oval. Stephen Fleming said 180 to 200, and I do notice that they have rather charitably brought in the boundaries here, so they're not quite as long.
Here's Ronke again on strike 2. McCaw, this one's up in the block hole and driven by Ronke down too long on for a single. And that's the end of the over. Team cricket 49 for 2. Here he comes now. Bowling to Ronke, and Ronke offers up an opportunity to Spice, a simple caught and bowled, and Spice first ball's put it down. Now, there've been a couple of drops from the rugby players. This one was a simple chance, mistimed.
Oh, Jerry, if only he'd been focusing a bit more on his own fielding rather than his field placings, he might have taken that. It was a bit of a gimme.
Yep.
He's bowling to the javelin here. Lovely little reverse sweep lap from the hairy javelin, Grant Elliott.
It's an old saying we used to have in cricket when I was playing back in the day, of course, Jerry, catches win matches. And that's certainly come into play in this match. We've seen a great catch, a couple of great catches, but a few drops.
Here's Spice again bowling to Ronke, who works it through the onside. Nice timing from Ronke, but lovely piece of fielding by Brendan McCullum, who's playing for the rugby side. Just keeps it to 2.
Lee, you did the pitch report earlier. Loved it, by the way. Great work.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Any chance of any turn in this wicket for Jason Spice?
I don't think so, Lee. I mean, especially perhaps at the end he's bowling to at the moment. There's a chance, probably about 25%.
Doesn't look like he's a big turner of the ball, Jason Spice, to me.
Here he's again bowling to Ronke, and Ronke goes up and over the top. Is it an opportunity? No, it's over into the crowd for 6. Beautiful shot from Luke Ronke. Lovely timing. And that's exactly what team cricket need.
Is that the first 6 of the game, Jerry? It's not.
I think you might find it's the second 6.
Here's Ronke again facing Spice, and he drives nicely through the offside, but it'll be fielded out there by Big Ali Williams. Just keep it to 1.
So Levy was saying they brought the boundaries in, especially on the cow corner end, to try to encourage some cross-bat play and make it easier to hit a boundary. So what is a good score with the boundaries being where they are?
This one a bit slower from Spice. There's an opportunity. He just uppishly drove through extra cover. It's the end of the over. Team cricket 61 for 2. Welcome back to Hagley Oval, where team cricket starting to up the run rate now, 61 for 2. Luke Ronke 15 and Grant Elliott 16. And welcome into the commentary position for the first time. Team cricket 61 for 2, Grant Elliott 16 and Luke Ronke 15, and welcome into the commentary position for the first time, ACC and Hauriki at G-Lane.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Good afternoon, Lee.
So Richard McCaw continues, and he reminds me a lot, actually, Richard McCaw, of Martin Snedden.
A left arm Martin Snedden, Jeremy, yeah. He kind of lumbers in. He's obviously lost a little bit of weight since his rugby playing days. That means he can actually get his arm over relatively straight. During his rugby days, it was more a Malinga type action.
He's into his second over here. He's gone for 11 so far, but he's taken a crucial wicket as Elliott goes back, and the missed times are cut for a single. A couple of great catches so far in this innings by Team Rugby. One by Kieran Reid and then one by Richie McCaw.
Both caught on the right on the fingertips, Jeremy. But I mean, difficult high catches, as you know, when you get older, you start to lose a bit of coordination and spatial awareness, but not here today.
So McCaw bowling to Ronke, who advances down the track. And it drives out to point. Come through for another single, starting to tick the score over now. Here's the catches. Here's Richie McCaw. This one, look at that. It was a swirling breeze, but he judged it well. And here's Kieran Reid. Oh, I mean, two great catches. Great athletes. As Elliott goes over cow corner and over the boundary for 6. Lovely shot from the hairy javelin.
Well, the one thing the rugby players do have is that ability to receive the ball over the shoulder, much like a kickoff. And we saw that on both those occasions, I think. but no one was catching that from Grant Elliott.
69 for 2 as Elliott cuts uppishly. Through point for 4. Good shot. It was too wide and short from McCaw, who's taking a little bit of a pasting here in a second over.
Slightly disappointed not to see a haka from the Team Rugby. Mike, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree there, Lee Baker. That would have been an interesting sight, especially if the cricket team responded.
Elliott just waits on one and just flicks it around the corner for a single. That's the end of the over. Team cricket 74 for 2 here at Hagley.
Well, welcome back to Hagley Oval, and welcome back to Hagley Oval, and this very much a festival occasion out there. The crowd is absolutely loving it. There's a real buzz and electricity out there. There's been 2 outstanding catches, both from All Black skippers Kieran Reid and the great Richie McCaw, and Spice comes in now and bowls to the hairy jab, who drives out to cover. Does anyone else think that Spice looks a little bit like Cat Stevens?
He is rocking a Muhammad Yusuf vibe out there. He's lost the top lip. He's obviously receding a little bit, Jason Spice. But a little story on Jason Spice. His cricket career came to an abrupt end.
But he comes in and floats us up. Oh, and big appeal. And that was a brilliant piece of work by Faisal Tanu'u. And I believe that was Ronky Donkey's been stumped. What a sharp piece of work behind the stumps there. Welcome back to Hagley Oval. What a beautiful piece of bowling by Jason Spice. Just floated a delicious delivery up to Ronky Donkey. He came down the wicket and was beautifully stumped by Afisa Tanu'u. And Liz Perry is the new batsman.
Just have a look at this stumping here. Jason Hoyt just floated it beautifully. And Afisa Tanu'u had the bails off in a flash.
Absolutely lightning quick. And just a little bit of turn, just enough to beat the bat.
He's got a lovely fluid action to Spice, and just as I say that, he pulls out. But the classic left arm, gentle floating deliveries. He's getting a bit of swing in the air, and this is nicely driven by the hairy jab out to the deep cover. Just get they'll get a couple of runs, a bit of a mess up on the field.
So Jason Spice, he was playing for Northern Districts as a 20-year-old, 22, 23-year-old. Had a big future in the game, and then a bespectacled librarian by the name of Daniel Vittori was selected at the age of 17. And Jason Spice made the decision to play rugby, and a wise one that was.
Spice again bowls to Elliott, who turns us off at stumps. Well, it's fair to say that Daniel Vittori ruined a great many cricket careers, Mike Lane, to be fair.
He did. He was one of many, Jason Spice, unfortunately, but he was taken under the wind by Simon Crabb, the great Waikato halfback. And his career flourished at the Hurricanes and then overseas at Bristol also, Jason Spice, and he's got a beautiful action.
Indeed, it's lovely. He's just getting a bit of flight and looping it up. That was a rank full toss, having said that, as he whips this out to mid-wicket for another single, does the hairy javelin. And it's Bodie Barrett coming into the attack, and that was a rather insipid ball that was absolutely brutalised by the hairy javelin for 4 through mid-wicket.
Well, it's chalk and cheese between Geordie Barrett and Bodie Barrett at the moment. He served up an absolute pie there. It was slow, it was short, and dispatched by the hairy javelin, Grant Elliott.
Well, I tell you, I was chatting to Bodie Barrett earlier this morning, and he was pretty nervous about this occasion, I can tell you, and he's looking a little bit tentative now as he comes in. It's a better delivery, though, driven by the hairy jab down to long on for a single.
Lee Baker, he reminds me a little bit of Jeremy Coney, the way he ambles in, and that ball didn't so much swing, almost just caught in the breeze and just floated.
I'd like to see him push it through a little harder, Mike Lane.
And he comes and he bowls to Perry, who drives and digs this ball out to cover. He reminds me a little bit of Morrison's Autumn Leaves. You know, those deliveries that just sort of float gently down to the batsman. But, you know, Bodie's he's a good sportsman and a crafty one too, and a Wouldn't be surprised if the hairy jab rolls the eyes into the back of the head and has an almighty swipe at some point. And this is lofted out to the man at deep cover for a single.
I think they call these deliveries nudes. Jason Hoyt, Lee Bates, nudes, because they have nothing on them. Nice. Absolutely nothing.
But is he just trying to lure the batsman into a false sense of security, Mike Lane?
Potentially.
He really could make more of an effort on his run-up, though, and that...
He might be listening to you there, because that one was, he darted that one a bit quicker, but sprayed it.
.86 for 3. Barrett bowls to Perry, who plays a majestic shot off her pads over the man at square leg, out to the man in the deep, just for the single. And, that's the end of the over, and I believe we're going to be crossing to Scotty Stevenson.
Well, standing by with Stephen Fleming. Flem, wasn't the longest innings of your career, and you also took one on the toe that most people in the players' box thought was absolutely plum. Your thoughts on that delivery from Iz?
Oh, maybe sliding down. Sliding down between middle and leg stump. Obviously, that's my nemesis, that we floater early, so they've obviously done their homework and very fortunate to get away with it.
Richie McCaw taking the catch. The McClaw, as we've now called it. Did you expect ever to be dismissed by Richie McCaw?
While reading Richie's book, he had a real problem with ball maintenance and control in his early days. It was something he really worked on. I didn't realise it had gone further to the white ball. So as it went up, I said to Nathan, I think I'm okay here. But he's done some work. That was a remarkable catch, bit of wind as well. And not the most traditional catching technique we've probably seen. And I could probably feel a little bit unlucky, but given the LB shout, I think it's evened out.
Well, it's always great to see you. I'm sure you enjoyed it out there nonetheless. Thank you, Flem. Back to you, boys.
Any doubts at all?
None. But it's one of those ones that if she was straight down your throat, the pressure's on. That was sort of one that you'd probably get an excuse to miss, but pretty happy it's stuck. Doesn't matter what you do for the rest of the day, does it?
Well, that's right, and it must have done great for your confidence, not just for you, but for the team. You could win this.
Yeah, boys are going right, aren't they? So I misfielded the first one, so to do something that was a bit better. So, but boys are going good.
You had a quick meeting then. Any sort of tactic changes, bowling short, perhaps get some catches down the boundary?
Yeah, just got to be walking in. Ali Williams was a bit slow coming off the rope just then, so he's been giving a wee rev up. But carry on doing the same.
Okay, mate, we'll keep up the good work. I think you can do this, and personally, I'm rooting for you guys, so that's great.
Pal.
We're out in about 5, 4, 3, 2.
Thanks very much, Lee Hart and the great Richie McCaw, one of the great New Zealand sportsmen, it's fair to say. Can he do anything wrong, gentlemen? I've always said, you know, I'd be very comfortable being spooned by Richie McCaw. He's just such a great guy. He has that reassuring air of a leader about him. And, you know, I think being spooned by Richie McCaw would be a very comforting and enlivening experience.
Well, he's such a amenable chap, Richie McCaw. He'd probably allow you to do that, Joe, so he could probably arrange that for you.
It's interesting to note as well, particularly with the ex-cricketers, the fast twitch fibres don't seem to be working as well as they used to, Mike Lane. You know, as you get older, your body tends to slow down. As Coxedge comes in now and bowls to the Perry, who drives down to mid-off for a single. I've found, you know, as I get older, when I go for a run, for example, my fast twitch fibres are all over the place. My arms go faster than my legs, which causes a real drag in my running style.
Well, I think that's the least of your problems, Jason Hoyt, with you and your shorts there. I don't think there's much fibres at all on those pins.
Yeah, chicken legs for sure. When's they going to break? And my dad used to say, I've seen better pair of legs on the arse end of a donkey, as this is driven by the hairy jab down to mid-off for a single.
Interesting batting combination we've got happening here, Mike Lane. Normally you in cricket you look to have a left-right combination. We've got a male-female. Is this the first boy-girl partnership set up in New Zealand cricket?
Potentially could be, and also we've got Coxedge coming in to bowl as well. It's definitely a first, Lee Baker.
It's just back of a length, and Perry chops it out to the man at cover, and there's no run. And this really is a wonderful occasion here at Hagley Oval. The crowd are loving it and having a very good time. Beautiful, balmy afternoon. And Coxedge again goes to Perry, who lofts it down to the man. It's long on as a despairing dive. And over his head for 6 runs. What a shot from Perry.
Great use of the feet from Liz Perry. Danced down the pitch and just launched it over and long on. Got hold of this. That's a great shot.
Oh, she struck it sweetly, didn't she? And it was a forlorn dive by the man at long on, but there was never any chance of getting that. This is just flicked off the pad. Nice bit of fielding at short, fine leg. And the hairy javelin scrambles back. So 95 for 3 at the moment. And the Team Rugby really hanging in there as Cox Edge comes in again and bowls to Perry. Oh, and she gets an inside edge, nearly onto her stumps, but she survives. And Team Cricket 95 for 3. I tell you who we haven't seen yet is the great Ali Williams as Bowden Barrett comes into the hairy javelin, who moves outside the off stump and plays a cheeky little flick down to fine leg, and in fact they'll race away for 4 on this carpet of an outfield, and a clever bit of batting by the hairy jav.
Welcome back, Matt Heath, into the commentary position. We're just talking about the chalk and cheese of Bodie and Geordie Barrett. Geordie Barrett with a classical fast bowler's action, came steaming in, digged a few in short, got a wicket, and you've got Bodie Barrett bowling some Jeremy Coney nudes. Nothing on them at all.
And he comes again, and this is, well, a bit of an appalling delivery, to be fair. A big looping, swinging full toss, and it's called a wide. I tell you what, Ali Williams,
Let's go, Bodie!
You ever need to get the baked beans off the top shelf, he's the man you need.
Yes, we watched him warming up in the nets before. He's a handy bowler. Obviously, ability to get a bit of bounce.
Barrett again bowls to the hairy jav, who lofts this in the air out to the man, and deep cover, he's caught! Oh, I told you, Bodie Barrett, all guile and cunning. There's nothing on the delivery. The batsmen have to do all the work, and the hairy javelin lofts this out to the man at deep cover, and it's a comfortable catch.
Well, taken by Callum Boshier, probably the safest pair of hands on the field. But in trouble now, the cricketers in trouble.
This is slashed by Perry. This ball from Bowden Barrett out to the man at point. And there's a single.
Now, Jason Hoyt and ACC and Hauraki head G Lane. The Chase would normally be on right now with Bradley Walsh, one of my favourite shows.
Oh, absolutely.
And so people that have tuned in were expecting the Chase. I thought I'd run a bit of a quiz, just so they're getting some questions and answers.
Very considerate of you, Matt Heath, to do that. There'll be a lot of people wondering where the Chase is. They'll be a little bit angry, and hopefully.
So Barrett again coming into Harry, who gets a full delivery. He drives out to point. There's no run. So what are you doing, Matt Heath? You're going to do a bit of a quiz, did you say?
Yeah, well, I thought for people that are tuned into The Chase, one of the most popular shows in the country, that maybe they'd like some questions.
Barrett again bowls to Harry, who drives down to long off for another single.
We're getting all the instructions from around the field coming through our headphones right here. It's quite hard to concentrate.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be a prima donna or complain about things. It's fantastic to be here, and what a treat to be on TVNZ. But
absolutely, as Barrett comes in again to Perry, slashes this upper sleeve to the man at cover, and it bounces just before. It crashed into his testicles there, I'm not sure, but he fields it. That's the end of the over, 102 for 4.
Team Cricket 102 for 4 here at Hagley Oval. The new man in is Chris Harris, about to face his first delivery.
Well, Jimmy Wells, I just asked Jason Hoyt, our lead commentator, before whether I was allowed to run a quiz due to the Chase not being on for us. and I didn't get his answer, so I'm asking you now, is it right if I run just a quick quiz?
I think that's a good idea actually, Matt Heath, because of course a lot of viewers will be tuning in to watch the chase. As Kendra Coxedge comes in this time to Chris Harris, and it's wide. So lets it go through to Junior Tanu'u. Before we go to your quiz, let's go down to Scotty J. Stevenson, who's standing by. Scotty.
Thank you very much, Jerry. David Higgins, founder and director of Duco. This is your event. It's taken years to plan as Kendra Coxedge comes into bowl again, but look at this crowd today. Surely an unmitigated success.
It's surreal for us, 2 years' work. I want to thank Christchurch. I've got some news. We just sold out. Just under 9,000 people. Look at this ground. I've never been to Hagley Park. It's fantastic. And you know, it was 2 years ago Stephen Fleming put this idea to us, and there's so many people who've contributed. I can't thank everyone, but it's just fantastic.
Look, the way that everyone's come together too, there's a great sense of collegiality between the players, both the All Blacks players, the rugby boys and the cricket boys, and girls for that matter, as Kendra Coxedge is blocked back.
They love it. They're not doing it for the money, trust me. I know what these boys get paid. It's team building at the beginning of the year. They love it. The crowd love it. Guaranteed to raise 6 figures for 3 charities. So everyone wins, and it's a wonderful thing. And you know, the players' associations, the players, the sponsors. You know, we were told 2 years ago that this was pretty hard to put together, but here we are. So hey, everyone's enjoying it.
David, we congratulate you, mate. We're all having a great day, so best of luck with the next venture as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for doing this for us, mate. Let's go back upstairs to the commentary boys. Jerry, over to you.
Thanks very much, Scotty J. Stevenson. Here's Kendra Coxedge again coming in too. Liz Perry just watchfully hits that back to Coxedge.
So you got Junior Tanu'u behind the stumps. I would want him on my team, I think, Junior Tanu'u. Mildly terrifying. And almost a human wall behind there.
Here's Berry, who drives through the offside nicely. But they'll push for 2. And yeah, Chris Harris. Oh, Chris Harris, he slipped. And that's the end. Oh, Liz Perry in the end has given up her wicket. It's Chris Harris who slipped mid-pitch. And a disappointing end of her innings. Liz Perry, she batted well, timed a beautiful drive through the offside.
Wow, the wheels are falling off the cricket team here, literally.
I'd like to have another look at Chris Harris just sliding on the back of his, probably an area where he doesn't have spikes on that hard surface on the Hagley Oval pitch. New man in is All Blacks halfback Aaron Smith. He's facing his first delivery. He cuts nicely through point, and that'll be 4. Beautiful shot from Aaron Smith. Lovely weight transfer as he just rocked forward and then pushed back. Lovely timing first ball.
Well, you've got to say it's all team rugby at this stage, isn't it? And then the rugby player comes out and smashes a 4.
Well, it's all rugby, isn't it, Matt Heath? They do bat quite deep, though, the cricket team. You've still got Hamish Marshall to come. You've still got James Franklin to come. So you've got plenty of depth in the cricket team. So I don't think I'll be too worried about the loss of wickets as such. There's plenty of batting to go, but you're right, Matt Heath. It's all rugby.
Change bowler for the rugby team. Israel Dagg will come on again from the Fred Goodall end here of Hagley Oval.
I think they're bringing on Big Ali Williams.
Oh, is it Ali Williams?
It's Big Ali Williams.
No, it is Big Ali. Well, this is interesting. Big Ali, 6'7". A lot of pace and bounce he can generate with that height. Watching him in the nets earlier, and definitely heaved it down there.
And I'll tell you what, that sweat on his forehead, I'd say 50% of that is tequila. After seeing him last night.
Here comes Ali Williams. It's a slower delivery than asked the questions. A good shout. But Billy Bowden, he walks away from the stumps. Did that pitch outside leg perhaps? It's a good one first up from Ali Williams.
I'd like to take a look at this action. It's not what I expected from Big Ali Williams. He's come in with a Bowden Barrett type nude again. Nothing much on it at all.
Well, we saw Billy Bowden at breakfast this morning. He said he was going to officiate like it was any game, and there was going to be no easy rides.
There's Ali Williams. This one's wide down the leg side. Love to have another look at that LBW. Like a good shout to me.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it, was there? It certainly wasn't going to go over the stumps. He just kind of floated it up into the wind at Ali Williams. Totally deceived.
Now, the ball is definitely helping him with that away swing. You saw a little bit of that there. And as Aaron Smith drives through the offside. He's a good-looking batsman, Aaron Smith. Looks like he's light on his feet.
Billy Bowden had the big breakfast, I believe, with a side of 2 extra sausages. So there was the 2 sausages on the plate, and then there was a side of another 2 sausages.
Jesus. There's Harris facing Ali Williams. Harris still playing a little bit of club cricket, and that one's just about got him where you don't want to be hit. Aaron Smith enjoying that.
So I've been threatening to do my punishing quiz. I've only got really one question, and that's...
Hit me, Matt Heath.
Okay, seeing as we're in beautiful sunny Christchurch today, where does the wizard live now?
Here's Williams again, bowling to Harris. This one's wider, and Harris cuts through to the cover sweeper for a single.
That question again, where does the wizard live now?
Christchurch?
No.
I'm going to say Oamaru.
Yeah, it is Oamaru, actually.
So is he still the Wizard of Christchurch?
Well, he changed his name to the New Zealand Wizard in...
Here's Ali Williams bowling to Aaron Smith. Just defends it, and that's the end of the over. Team cricket, 112 for 5. Welcome back. Here's Caleb Boshier. Short single there taken by Harris. Really would have had to get the old legs moving there. He is 74, Chris Harris, this year. So one of the oldest players out there playing today. And welcome to the commentary position, Lee Hart.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. 113 for 5 at this stage. Our thoughts on a score, I'm thinking maybe 160.
Well, as Mike Lane was saying before, the cricketers bat pretty deep. I'm going to say, what did you say?
160.
I'm going to say 161.
Here's Boshier again bowling to Aaron Smith. He just goes back, stands on the crease and defends it into the leg side. I'm going to say 162.
Okay, so 160 for you, Lee Hart.
I'll change that to 163.
Well, I'll change mine to 164 then.
And I'm changing mine then to 165.
175 for me.
Well, I might change back to 162 then if you're not taking that one, Jerry.
Here's Caleb Boshier again bowling to Smith, who gets back and pulls it away. Down to long on for another single. What did you say you changed yours to?
162.
Okay, I'm going back to, what did I say I changed mine to?
You went to 165, I think.
Okay, I'm going back to 163 then.
You can stick with that?
Yep.
Is it all right if I go back to 161?
Then lock that in, eh?
Is no one's on 161?
Not at this stage, no.
I'm going to lock that in.
Here's Harris facing Boshier, and he drives down the ground for a single. Just a little collection period here for team cricket.
But is that enough? Is 161 or 164, as you said, Jerry? Was it 164?
I believe I was 163.
I'm going to go 179.
Is 179 enough?
Well, I didn't say 179. I said 163.
I'm going to go with 179 now, though. I'm going to change.
Well, I think 179 is enough.
179 is enough, but what about 161?
That's not enough.
It could be enough.
Well, it depends how much the cricket players score.
Here's Aaron Smith again. This was short. It's pulled away. Didn't quite time it, but it will drop safely. A little bit lucky there, Aaron Smith.
And by cricket players, I mean rugby players. Hey, speaking of quizzes, text Black to 332 to play the Radio Hodaki Great New Zealanders quiz. Test your sporting knowledge and be in to win a trip to Auckland to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers on March 8th.
Now, tell you what, fellas, I was wandering around those sparkles before.
This is a beautiful shot. There's a chance. Oh, Richie McCaw came in. Half chance. Just ended up falling short of him. And that's the end of the over. Team cricket, 117 for 5. Aaron Smith and Chris Harris at the crease at the moment for team cricket. Both on 7. And this is Ali Williams bowling his right arm slow medium. French cut there from Harris. They'll need to pick up the run rate here, I think, team cricket, if they're looking to post a total anything like the ones that we were talking about, Lee Hart.
Your 161s, 163s, even your 165 that you mentioned.
Here comes Ali Williams again, and this one's a little bit wider. Just feel like Ali Williams just needs to start to bend the back a little bit more, maybe bowl into the wicket, use that height, 6'7".
Yeah, he bowled a little slower than I expected. a military medium kind of bowling.
Here is again, bowling to Harris, who tries to whip it away on the leg side.
It's
got a
causing,
pad on it, so it's not
causing,
wide.
causing Harris a few issues. Do you think, Lee Hart and Jeremy Wells, that the cricketers have taken the rugby players too lightly and had too big a night last night?
This one's a full toss. It's driven by Harris through to the cover sweeper for a single. Potentially they have.
Well, unlike the commentators, and we called it pretty early, didn't we? We had it off, and they were all still out there, weren't they?
So I was in bed at 7:30 p.m. with a cup of tequila.
Did anyone drink that little bottle of red wine they had at night?
Here's Williams again. This one's on the pads of Smith. It just gently works it into the onside for a single.
Yes,
It's not quite a mini bar, was it? It was sort of like a half a mini bar.
Beside the bathroom sink.
Yeah.
I was feel a bit depressed when I catch myself drinking in the bathroom.
The key is not to catch yourself.
This one's pulled away by Harris into the gap. They look for two. Try fielded in the end. Just keep it to one.
Well, it's hard not to catch yourself with the mirrors. It's hard to get away with drinking in the bathroom by yourself and just see that sunken eyes just reflected back at you. It's not about us. It's about this fantastic event here at Hagley Oval.
Smith gets right in behind that one. Good looking shot for a test batsman, perhaps. Team cricket 121 for 5.
Hook on to the end of the pool, and it's not the same, of course, but.
Well, it's a great way to exercise and stay healthy, that's for sure. It's the great Richie McCaw comes in to Harry, who lofts him over cover, and it'll race out to the boundary for 4. I tell you what, I've been hugely impressed by Aaron Smith, and this might be too much praise perhaps, but there's just a touch of Sachin Tendulkar about him.
I thought you were going to say BMAC, Brendan McCullum, because he's got the tats and he's got that build that gives him the tremendous bat speed. I wouldn't go so far as Sachin Tendulkar, Jace.
Yeah, that may be, to be fair, a step too far, but he plays with a magnificently straight bat, and Richie McCaw, who's had a bit of a pasting, to be fair, as this is whipped off the pads of Harris out to the man at deep square leg, looking for 2, but in the end they can't really be buggered.
Lee, I tell you, really good to see the punters enjoying the hot spring spa pools right on the boundary.
And it's amazing how efficient they are, energy-wise.
Are they, though?
I was talking to one of the guys down there about that, and incredibly efficient.
Are you talking about the hot spring spa there, Lee?
Hot spring spas, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, you know, looking at these ex-cricketers, just how much the fitness levels are playing a part at the moment. I'm sure that they could have squeezed out another 10 or 15 runs, but maybe the old heart rate's going a little bit too fast, and you know, they're just looking to take it a little bit easier, not push themselves too hard, as McCaw comes into Smith, who hoiks this out to the man at long on, and he puts it down. And it was Brendan McCullum, of all the people. There's been some sensational catches throughout the day. Richie McCaw, Kieran Reid, and the true cricketer out there, Brendan McCullum, BMAC, puts down an absolute sitter.
127 for 5, I believe. I tell you what, I think this game is going to come down to the cricket bowlers.
McCaw again bowls to Harry, who slaps him out to the man at deep cover for another single. So you were talking score predictions, Lee Hart. What was the general consensus? At the moment, 128 for 5.
Around about 165, 164. I think Jerry said 163, Matt said 164.
Okay.
And I went back to 162. Then Matt changed his to 165.
Okay, nice. McCaw again bowls to Smith, who presents a beautifully straight bat. He looks elegant and he plays some lovely cricket shots. Unfortunately for him, he's just not getting any runs. He's currently on 9 off 11, so that's relatively handy, I guess.
Look, I'm predicting mid 160s too, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough.
McCaw again comes into Smith, who miscues this one. It flies up in the air and it'll be comfortably caught at point. And the great Aaron Smith is on his way with team cricket now 128 for 6.
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Aaron Smith
I'll tell you a problem that Team Cricket are going to have here, Lee, and that is they only have one specialist bowler.
Well, Team Cricket struggling now at 1:28 for 6. We'll be back shortly. Well, welcome back everyone to Hagley Oval, and the match evenly poised at the moment. 1:28 for 6, and Team Rugby have brought back their kingpin, Geordie Barrett, who's been something of a revelation, it's fair to say. The new batsman for Team Cricket, Hamish Marshall, with his tremendous locks of hair, will be facing up to Geordie Barrett, who bustles in, and this is a lovely shot, just flicked off the pads down to fine leg for 4.
Just to clarify my point about the bowling and the Team Cricket side, Lee, they do have two specialist bowlers, of course. There is, there's Kyle Mills and there's James Franklin, and they have some all-rounders. The problem is all the all-rounders are quite old.
Yeah, Chris Harris is. I mean, he still plays.
He still plays. Nathan Astles, not quite so much.
Well, he was always great for clogging up an end, was Chris Harris, wasn't he? With his, it was an unusual bowling technique that he had, but highly effective. The ball really did skid on to the batsman, take them by surprise. But Geordie Barrett, what a lovely action he's got, and that's slashed away by Hamish Marshall to the man at deep point, and a beautiful bit of fielding. Who was that? Spectacular stuff on the boundary there. So, Team Rugby, you'd have to say at the moment, with the upper hand, playing some beautiful cricket as Verburley Barrett comes in, and there's a slap back pass, Barrett down to the man at long off for another single. I believe now we're going to cross to Scotty Stevenson.
Thank you very much, Jace, and joined by Kendra Coxedge and Liz Perry. Liz, first of all, sacrificing yourself for Chris Harris, what are you thinking?
Well, we said 2 originally, and then I slipped and then he slipped, so I kind of felt like it was my right to kind of take that one for the team.
All that dancing though, he should have been fitter than that, shouldn't have slipped over, should have kept his feet.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a couple of drinks last night too, so yeah, I'm sure he would have been fine today.
You enjoyed it out there?
Loved it. I mean, those are my idols out there when I was younger, so just lapping it up really.
Elmo, New Zealand's Rugby Player of the Year, showing your hand at bowling out there at the moment, but the batting's still to come. You're hopeful of some runs?
Oh, you know, it's always good to get some runs. I'll be happy with one.
Well, there's been a halfback out there. I think you should aim up on Aaron Smith's score and try and beat that by at least 2.
Yeah, that's probably going to be my goal, you know, as it's a good 9 and I got to beat him at something, so.
There you go, ladies. It's great to see you out there. Holding up your end of the bargain as well. Boys, back to you in the booth.
Yeah, thanks very much, Scotty Stevenson. And Coxhead, she's got a wonderful pass off the base of the scrum too. Very similar to Aaron Smith. This is a full ball and it's elegantly driven through the covers by Hamish Marshall, and they'll just get the single. And Geordie Barrett, 2.5 overs at the moment, 1 for 28. And doing well. Harris is 16 off 19 and Marshall 8 off 4.
Tell you what, Hamish Marshall looking in fine touch, but the question is he a blaster? They need to finish big, Team Cricket, and is that going to be Hamish Marshall or can Chris Harris do that?
Very good question, Lee, very good question.
Geordie Barrett again bowls an absolutely appalling delivery down the leg side, and that is a tremendous wide there with the score at 139 for 6 at the moment, and he'll be deeply embarrassed by that one. Just maybe trying to put a little bit of extra effort into it, and it came out completely wrong. What a sporting family the Barretts are, a dynasty. Really talented sportsmen all around that family. As this is pulled by Hamish Marshall, they'll scamper through for a quick single, and nicely taken with Team Cricket 140 for 6. Maybe trail a few flies off the edge, maybe. I don't know if that's legal or not, probably not.
Bit of eeling, perhaps.
Maybe a little bit of eeling.
Get the eels, put them straight in the smoker.
I think it's Izzy Dag back into the attack, and he pulls a full delivery to Hamish Marshall, who digs this out, and there's no run.
Do they race punters?
Traditionally they don't. I mean, you can hire one, of course, and I think they have the paddle boats, leaving from the old Antigua boat sheds down there, historic building.
In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Lee Hart. I think you and I, before we go back to Auckland tomorrow, we've got to go for a bit of a punt. It sounds like a great idea. And this is pulled by Hamish Marshall. Out to the man at deep mid-wicket. And they'll zip through for a couple of runs there. And Izzy Dagg, he's been pretty economical, to be fair. 2.2 overs, none for 9. He's kept a real check on the team cricket run rate. Just a sort of meandering bowling action. This is once again pulled by Marshall out to the man at deep mid-wicket, and they'll amble through for another single.
Lee Hart, do we need to drastically revise our score predictions? 143 for 6, halfway through the 19th.
I'll tell you what, cricket's not going to be happy with us. Certainly gettable. Plenty of batting in that rugby team.
Well, absolutely. Of course, they stole Brendan McCullum, didn't they? And he's going to be a big asset for them, that's for sure. Though, to be fair, he put down an absolute shocker in the field a little earlier on as Harry comes down the wicket to Izzy Dagg and slaps him out to the man at long on, and they'll get a couple of runs. Oh, what a brilliant throw from the outfield! Oh, sensational! They're going to go upstairs and have a look. I'm not sure who the fieldsman was at this point, but it was a direct hit.
He seems to be walking anyway, Jace.
Well, that'll take care of that. As far as I understand it, we don't actually have an upstairs league. There is no third umpire.
Well, that's probably us then. Let's have a review, eh? Let's have a
do it ourselves.
Here.
We can call it from the commentary position.
He's well out. He's well out.
What a sensational piece of fielding, and that's the third occasion for this team rugby. It was Geordie Barrett, I believe, who heaved that in. A direct hit from right on the outfield. So 2 brilliant catches and a brilliant run out. And so Jimmy Franklin is the new batsman for team cricket. A handy cricketer he was too. And I was just actually thinking, chaps, with 2 balls to go in this Izzy Dagg over. And he's coming into Harry. You remember, of course, and he has an almighty ugly swipe at the ball. And there could be a run out of both ends. Well, too close to call, says the umpire. Direct hit from Izzy Dagg. But this is tailor-made for Chris Harris, isn't it? He used to love coming in and rescuing the New Zealand innings. He'd often come in when New Zealand were in trouble in the middle overs. And this is tailor-made for the great Harry. Great throw from Izzy Dagg, though, to be fair.
Well, Chris Harris was famous for noodling it around and ticking the run rate over and keeping the innings stable through the middle. But what he really needs to do now is finish.
Yeah,
some big hits.
He needs to roll his eyes into the back of his head and just take an almighty swipe at the ball, because he can hit a big ball, that's for sure. I remember one of the New Zealand coaches, I think it might have been Glenn Turner, saying that Chris Harris was the biggest hitter of all of them. And there were some pretty big hitters in the side at the time. And he can certainly has the ability to clear the boundary. As Jimmy Franklin is about to face up to his first delivery from Izzy Dagg, who's nearly finished his third over. He's only conceded 11 runs. Oh, and that is a beautiful nut. And the end of the over with team cricket 145 for 7. Welcome back to Hagley Oval. Team cricket 145 for 7. And 19 overs are gone, so they're just going to have to throw the bat at it. And Team Rugby have got Geordie Barrett, who's been a bit of a star turn today, just rifled in a throw from the outfield, a direct hit, ran out one of the team cricket players, and he's going to finish off the death over, bowling to Harry. And that's down the leg side, we called a wide.
I tell you what, there's been plenty of exciting action in this match. Wouldn't it be great if Matt and Jerry could maybe pull together some sort of highlights reel or something and talk about it in the halftime break? Wouldn't that be great?
Well, we'll see if we can get onto that, Lee Hart. Something can be organised, I'm sure, with technology the way it is these days. As Geordie Barrett comes in around the wicket again, and this is smashed in the air, and it's going to be over the man at mid-wicket into the crowd for 6. That was a lovely shot. In fact, I think it was James Franklin who... Oh no, it was Chris Harris who smashed that over mid-wicket for 6.
Well, just as you said, Jace, he hits a heavy ball and he can hit it a long way. He's lost none of his form over the years, and he's capable of dancing down the wicket, isn't he? We saw that on the TV show.
Well, the 150 up for team cricket is Barrett again. This is pulled in the air, and I think it's going to drop between the fieldsmen. It is, and they'll just get the single. And Geordie Barrett, he's a feisty character, and he's maybe putting in a bit more effort, chucking in that short ball, and it's bouncing up towards the Adams Apple region.
Here's this replay. Here's this big 6 from Chris Harris. How many metres would you say that was, Lee?
Oh, that's a good 88, I'd say.
88 to 90 metres, I'd imagine, Lee Hart, as Geordie Barrett comes in now. He's bowling to James Franklin, and that's an appalling delivery. And that'll be 4 wides down the leg side. Much needed runs by Team Cricket. And Fisa Tunuku did his very best, a valiant dive, but to no avail.
Well, I'm delighted to see those 4 wides, because it does mean that our possibly optimistic predictions may come into play. We may have got that more right than we thought. What was your prediction, Lee?
163.
Oof, good.
So, Geordie Barrett again bowling another short delivery to James Franklin, and that's once more going to be called wide. And maybe just getting a little over-aroused at the moment is Geordie Barrett. Just trying to fire it in, cramp up the batsman, but it's just sailing down the leg side. He's got some great zinc action going on too, doesn't he? He comes again to Franklin. And this is a big looping full toss, which is smashed down to Beauden Barrett at long off, and they'll scamper through for 2. Well run.
Tell you what, Barrett reminds me, his action just recalls just slightly Shane Bond, a great Canterbury fast bowler.
A great sporting family, much like the Skin brothers.
There were 4 of them, weren't there?
That's right,
the Foreskin brothers. This is lofted by James Franklin, and what a sweet shot that was. And that's going to be 6 runs.
Of course, they were rugby players as well, like the Barretts.
Yes. Yeah, the 4 of them, the Foreskin brothers, were all, of course, All Blacks, weren't they?
That's right.
Great players. And that was a sweet shot from Jimmy Franklin, dropped short again by Geordie Barrett.
There's actually a difference of about 17 years in age, wasn't there? I think the oldest one was about 42 when he stopped playing.
Yeah, there's been a few great sporting families within New Zealand, of course. We're talking about the Barrett brothers, the McCullums, of course.
The Foreskins.
The Foreskins, another great family.
Or the Skins.
Or the Skins, but there were 4 of them, as Geordie Barrett comes in again, bowling to James Franklin, short and wide, and he lofts it straight down the ground. It's in the air. Geordie Barrett's underneath it and takes a comfortable catch. Didn't even look like missing that one. And Geordie Barrett claims another wicket, his 2nd of the innings. And that was taken comfortably by Geordie Barrett. You imagine actually when these big catches go up in the air, they'll be feeling pretty tenuous out in the outfield. The big crowd watching on, seeing if they're going to take it. But that was nicely judged by Geordie Barrett.
Yeah, it's going to be great for their confidence, isn't it? Going in after the break, just have to bat. Kept them to around, what, 160?
Well, it's Nathan McCullum to come to the creases. He's known amongst the ACC, the Komodo Dragon. And he's looking forward to getting stuck into his brother at the bowling crease later on in the game.
It's all about
an enthralling battle.
It's all about the neck, Jace, isn't it? That's why we call him the Komodo Dragon. He's got a magnificent, thick neck, much like the famous Komodo Dragon of the Komodo Islands.
Well, in comes Geordie Barrett again to Harris, and he gets a ball on the hip there and tries to pull him away, and it ricochets out to the man at gully. And that's the end of the innings, and Team Cricket 168 for 8, which is a pretty good effort when you consider they were struggling throughout the innings. And unfortunately for the Komodo Dragon, he was unable to even face a delivery, but he'll maybe get his revenge on at the bowling crease.
Lee Hart, you've got to say that is probably a defendable total.
Oh, definitely, Lee. I think, they did very well rugby. They're going to be going in with confidence. 168 for 8. Kieran Reid, of course, handy with the bat.
Yeah, well, there's been some outstanding fielding from the Team Rugby side, as we've mentioned. Two great catches, a great run out, and I believe we're going to cross now to Scotty Stevenson, who'll be chatting to Chris House. That's Scotty, is it?
Thanks very much, Jace. Well, Harry, you've done it again, mate. You're not out. You're not out.
Yeah, disappointing. Really disappointed. The boys got off to a great start, and then I just couldn't finish off. I thought the 30 overs still to go, but it's not. It's only 2020.
Now, you owe Liz Perry a drink, obviously.
Yeah, probably a couple of drinks. Probably, and a few others as well. So probably Hamish Marshall as well.
Did you enjoy it out there, mate? Something different for you?
Absolutely. Frustrated, couldn't get a few more boundaries away, but bowled pretty well, really. So probably should have done my job, got out a little bit earlier and got someone else in.
Are we going to see the classic Chris Harris bowling action today?
I hope so. I hope I don't get hit too badly. I've got a feeling I might go the distance today. The way the day's gone, I think I could be disappearing over the fence.
I know you need to go and ice up pretty much every one of your joints, so I'll let you go and do that, mate. Good luck for the second innings. Can't wait to see your ball in hand.
Thanks, mate. I'm happy just to stand here because it feels...
You needed a break, Harry. Nice one, mate. We'll bring in the skip. Rito, what a catch. What about that?
Yeah, mate, I was doing the back pedal, then shit, I'm not going to get that. So I had to turn around, and I'm pretty happy it stuck.
I'll tell you what,
the skipper before me made one, so I couldn't drop it, you know.
I was going to say, did you see Richie's effort and thought, I've got to do that?
Yeah, I can't drop that, mate, after he made it. So.
A fascinating moment in the game of cricket to see bowler Karen Reid catcher. It's never been done before on Hagley Oval, but it has been done now. The whole day, mate, the whole experience, what's it been like for you?
It's been fantastic. Like when the crowd was turning up to us before the first bowl, I was getting a bit nervous, to be honest. But I think the guys really, bowled fantastically. To restrict them to 160 or something like that is a great job, and it's been awesome fun doing it.
Now Ted Henry's obviously been calling the changes, rolling subs for the rugby sides. Masterful coaching again from Ted.
Yeah, masterful. I think it really kind of put them off their stride. I think managed to kind of keep the guys in there who are maybe just noodling it around a bit, and the guys we needed to get out got them out early.
Baz McCullum could not emulate the deeds of McCaw and Reid today. Will he come in for a little bit of stick later on?
I'm sure he will, yeah. It's easier stuff. He stuffed it, but yeah, it's obviously a bit of pressure on it.
Mate, good luck for the next innings. The chase is on, and I'm sure you boys are confident. Thanks for chatting to us, Rito.
I don't know if we're confident, but I think the fact it's a bit short, they're going to be coming steaming in at us.
Fair enough, too. Get ready for it. Kieran Reid, captain of the rugby side. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Matt and Jerry are going to wrap up the first innings. There you go, 168 runs to play with them, so let's go and see what they can do. Back to you, Jerry.
Thank you very much, Scotty J. Stevenson. All right, well, the players look like they're just about ready to take the field. In fact, they are taking the field. So we'll go up to the commentary position with Jason Hoyt, ACC, and now Hodaki Head, G Lane, and Lee Hart.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jeremy, and just still looking sensational, my friend. And I can tell you, we had a bit of a chat to Kieran Reid just in the break there, Mike Lane, and he talks a big game, but you could tell underneath all that the nerves are really getting to him.
Yeah, I've seen him training in Victoria Park in Auckland. He spent the last week in the nets. He can certainly strike the ball, Kieran Reid, but it's a whole different story when you've got the likes of Kyle Mills steaming in. And Kyle Mills, he's gone the full run-up, Lee Hart.
He certainly has. I'm sensing the confidence with this rugby team. Tell you what, that highlights reel, and I've been involved with a lot of highlights reels in my time, and that's certainly one of the best I've seen.
Yeah.
Very well cut, put together. The only real issue with it was that my interview with Richie McCaw, on-field interview, didn't actually make the highlights reel.
Well, that was an outstanding bit of interviewing, if I can say so, mates. And
I suppose they were focusing on the player, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. But what I will tell you, of course, Kieran Reid, he's built solidly, as you'd imagine, an All Black captain to be. And I imagine if he gets hold of one, it could be sailing over the boundary, Mike Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, along with him, you got Hussey and Brendan McCullum, who was a late addition to the team rugby.
A lot of controversy about the McCullum defection, wasn't there?
Well, of course, his last competitive sports match was playing for the Matamata Bees at fullback.
That's right.
And that's what Sir Graham Henry claimed, and that's why he managed to get his way, and McCullum was switched to the team rugby.
Well, I was, we've been talking to the teams in the break and talking about their training, what they've been doing to get prepared. And to be honest, they said they've spent most of their time in the local sports bar, and that's pretty much been their preparation. It's really been about, for Kieran Reid, he said about visualising, about trying to watch as much cricket as possible and absorbing cricket through osmosis. So now he'll be under the gaze of 9,000 adoring fans live at the ground and millions across the world. Nice compact stance though, that's for sure, and Mills comes in. Oh, and a lovely defensive shot from Kieran Reid there, and he'll be mightily relieved about that.
Yes, he will be. A little bit of a dance. The last thing he wants to do is to start to back away to square, because that's the last thing you want to do. But he got in line nicely there,
It was a nice shot, wasn't it? It was an elegant shot.
And you just got to get that first ball away. I mean, so often I'd go out for a golden, but if I could get that first ball away, often I'd get maybe 3 or 4.
Well, I tell you what, Kyle Mills really is steaming in, and that's a doozy of a delivery. Just pitching on off stump and seaming away. Kieran Reid feeling for that and not getting a touch, fortunately.
Attacking field, Lee Hart. Stephen Fleming's got 3 slips in place, a gully.
Yeah, it is.
It looks like he's going to bring a 4th slip in place. So he's gone on the attack right away, Stephen Fleming. Really putting the pressure on Kieran Reid.
They're after those early wickets, much like Rugby got.
So Mills again still looks in great shape, as Kyle Mills. And this is a nice, elegant shot again. Of course, no run for the All Black skipper, but he's looking pretty compact. He looks as though he knows how to hold a bat. And also, of course, Bowden Barrett opening up for the Team Rugby, Lee Hart and Mike Lane. Any idea of his batting technique?
Oh, Lee Hart, I'm going to have to say I'm going to have to throw to him, because I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mike. No idea either.
So Kyle Mills on to the All Black skipper, short and cut away, and nicely so. A bit of a misfield at the, I think it was the 5th slip. I think they've got 5 slips in at the moment. Really attacking field from Stephen Fleming, the skipper. And a nice cut shot there from the All Black skipper to get off the mark.
Well, I can tell you right now, Lee Hart, that Bowden Barrett is a left-hander.
Yep, that's becoming quite obvious. With his, yeah, he is, isn't he? He's a left-hander. Kieran Reid, of course, a right-hander.
I tell you what, he looks good. He looks very good. In fact, what a lovely stance he's got there. And that was a magnificent leave from Bowden Barrett.
It's a great leave, first
up.
up.
A lovely leave, and he just looks the part. I mean, he may be terrible for all we know, but I'll tell you what, that stance, absolutely immaculate.
Yeah, it's a great setup, Jason Hoyt. A very, very clean setup from Bowden Barrett. We've yet to see bat on ball, but he looks good.
Reminds me a little bit of the Australian Justin Langer, actually, the way he's batting. In comes Mills again, full on his edge, and it takes the man at first slip, and a race down to the boundary for 4. And Team Rugby are underway. The first over is down 5 without loss.
Oh, the irony there, because it's Stephen Fleming.
Welcome back to Hagley Oval, and the last ball of the first over. Big edge from Bodie Barrett, and Stephen Fleming, a despairing dive, and it raced to the boundary for 4. And Jimmy Franklin is bowling now, and I have to say, lads, it took Stephen Fleming about 3 months to get down to that one.
Well, interestingly, he had 4 slips in place, yet he left a gap of about 3 metres between himself and Ronke.
We talked about the fast twitch fibres earlier on, and I think Stephen was contemplating maybe what they'd had for dinner when that flew past him. And this is a nice shot from Kieran Reid, who tucks it elegantly off his pads. I'll be honest, I was expecting brute force from the All Black captain, but he's just nudging it around nicely, looking very much the opening batsman.
Can we talk to Stephen Fleming, do you think?
Oh, look,
I know he's mic'd up.
I know that we had a bit of an issue technically in the first innings trying to talk to the players, and but I'd love to speak to Stephen Fleming.
If you can hear us, perhaps you could give us a bit of a wave.
Jimmy Franklin comes in now to Bowden Barrett. Oh, immaculate backward defensive stroke there from Bodie Barrett. I tell you what, as I've said, they're looking good, but they're just not getting any runs.
Well, they've got to see off these 2 bowlers. They're their key strike bowlers, aren't they? And Jimmy Franklin and...
But added to that, Mike, of course, it's the power play, and you've really got to take advantage, and it's an attacking field from Fleming. 3 slips, a gully, a point. This is another lovely shot from Bowden Barrett. Take a picture of that. My word.
But like you said, Jace, not a lot of runs, and you yourself would be used to this kind of Jeffrey Boycott style play. You once batted through an entire 50 overs. You opened the innings, carried your bat for how much?
13.
It's disgraceful.
13 it was, and what an innings it was. Full of
it was different times, though, wasn't it?
Dogged determination as Franklin comes in again and bowls to Bowden Barrett, who plays a chip shot to Wideish mid-on, and they'll get a single. 6-7 without loss, and we're in the second over. You'll be seeing the pressure just begin to build. That's the thing about a T20 fixture. You can't really muck around. You've got to get stuck into it pretty much from ball one, particularly chasing a score like 168. Franklin now coming into the All Black skipper. Short and pulled away, and he's caught at square leg. And disappointment for Kieran Reid. He really did look the part, and the shot that he got out to was actually a nicely played shot, unfortunately straight to the fieldsman. And the All Black skipper hangs his head forlornly as he trudges off the pitch.
What's your approach here, Lee Hart, for Team Rugby?
Well, I'll tell you what, they should be checking the front foot on that. You never know, it could have been a no ball. Good to see Kieran back in there. Much like the cricket captain, Stephen Fleming, gone cheaply. It's fine.
Well, he has survived, what was it, I think about 7 balls, so he didn't disgrace himself, but he'll be massively disappointed. But he's a competitive fella. So the first wicket down for Team Rugby. Welcome back to Hagley Oval, and look at those lovely hot spring portable spas, Lee Hart. People really enjoying those on the boundary.
Kieran Reid's day's pretty much over. He can jump into one of those now and relax.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a great way to de-stress, isn't it? And this is a nice shot from the new batsman, Hussey, who hoiks Mills down to a wideish long on for a couple of runs. It really is a nice way to unwind of a day, Mike Lane, isn't it? To just get the kid off. I mean, obviously you could wear your budgie smugglers or whatever have you, but just to sit in those soothing, warm bubbles.
As I say, great with the family, have your family meetings, catch up, glass of wine perhaps.
I think David Hussey's going to enjoy Kyle Mills, I think. you're going to see a lot of runs scored here.
Well, he's all elbows and knees as Kyle Mills. He always has been. That's a nice delivery through to the keeper, Ronke, and there's no run.
Of course, David Hussey is Team Rugby's wild card. Jason Hoyt.
Yeah, controversial, I would have thought, the Australian ringing.
Yeah, well, they yanked him out of the Big Bash commentary box and chucked him out on the field, but he holds the key, him and Brendan McCullum. But he'll enjoy the speed of Kyle Mills.
Well, he still looks good, Kyle Mills, doesn't he? Doesn't seem to have lost anything. What was that nice, lovely action of his? And this is tucked off the hip by Hussey, and he'll scamper through for another couple of runs for Team Rugby. And I can tell you that the crowd here will be very much looking forward to Baz McCullum coming to the pitch. And I'm looking forward to the tussle between Nathan McCullum and Brendan McCullum.
Do we know when Brendan is coming in the order?
I think he was so deeply embarrassed about his drop catch in the deep that he's put himself down the order. He's slightly embarrassed about that debacle as Mills comes in and bowls too. Oh, Hussey, who miscues a pull shot. And once again, the fast twitch fibres of the New Zealand cricketers letting them down, and Kyle Mills about 3 months too slow in going for that catch.
Well, it was good of Kyle Mills, wasn't it? Because we didn't have to do the slow motion replay because he went for that in slow motion.
Absolutely. And we are going to be hoping to speak to the players throughout the innings.
Were you talking to Kyle last night at any point?
Yeah, I had a great chat to Kyle, Lee, if you should ask, and lovely chap he is, and his brother Heath.
Huge fans of Bouja.
Yes, indeed. Indeed they are, as Mills comes in now. And it's left alone by Bodie Barrett, and nonchalantly, if I may say so, casually lifts the bat and lets it through. And a bit of a chuckle from the Komodo Dragon in the slips there.
I think that's Hussey that's facing up there. They're giving him a bit of jib from the slips.
Oh yes, it is Hussey, my apologies. Bodie at the other end. It's lovely crowd and full house. Beautiful evening here in Christchurch. So Mills short of a length and defended, and they'll scamper through for another single. That's the end of the third over with Team Rugby 13 for 1. Welcome Matt Heath back into the commentary position, and it is the Komodo Dragon, I believe, Nathan McCullum, who's going to be bowling to Hussey, the Australian import. That familiar looping bowling technique of Nathan McCullum, and first ball 1 bounce 4, or has it pitched and stopped? I think Not entirely sure. I know it's going to be 4 runs. It was a wedge shot from Hussey, and it just landed before the boundary and dribbled over.
So Lee Hart in this early stage of the Team Rugby's innings. Who do you think's going to win the game?
Well, I tell you what, Matt, it's very early days, but I don't think Rugby needs to panic yet. They're just accumulating runs like this. It's the way to go.
We were making
see off these bowlers.
We were making the comment, Matt Heath, that Bodie Barrett looks the part. He's got a tremendous stance. He's playing lovely, elegant shots. He's just not getting any runs. And this is once again smashed down the ground. Over long on for 6. Great shot from Hussey. That's the little boost that Team Rugby needed. 23 for 1. And, we're in the 4th over.
Well, of course, David Hussey and Baz McCullum, crucial for Team Rugby's chances. Of course, as I was saying before, Baz McCullum scored 158 for the Kolkata Knight Riders.
McCullum again to Hussey. He drives down to the man at mid-off. They'll scamper through for another single. Well, maybe they've asked Bodie Barrett to anchor the innings, just nudge it around, open the face, do that sort of thing, and your likes of your Husseys, your
McCullums, your Hussies.
Your Hussies and your McCullums, your bigger hitters, you let them to up their run rate. Matt Heath, I'd be interested to get your opinion on the training techniques of both these sides. Pretty much saying that they spend all their training in the local sports bar.
Kenny's Sports Bar and Grill, I think.
This is defended. See what I mean? Look at that shot there from Beauden Barrett. That was beautiful. Gives himself a little tug on the box there. And that was an immaculate forward defensive stroke.
Is it time for us to send some gloves out with a message? It's not a test match, mate.
McCullum again to Barrett. Short and slashed away. And that'll beat the man at point and race down to the boundary for 4. Lovely shot from Bodie Barrett. And that's the end of the over with Team Rugby 28 for 1.
Momentum shifting here at Hagley Oval as David Hussey dispatched the Komodo Dragon Nathan McCullum for a couple of 6s in that last over. And there's going to be James Franklin now. And he's bowled him! He's chopped it on, has Hussey. And that's the end of David Hussey. Disappointing for the rugby team because he really looked to be going well, Matt Heath.
Yeah, the danger man is gone. Arguably one of 2 danger men that the rugby team has roped in.
Going back to Hagley Oval, the new man at the crease is Brendan McCullum. This will be exciting, Matt Heath and Lee Hart.
Yes, it will, Jerry. What can he do? How aggressive will he be? That's the question we need to answer, and we'll get that answer very shortly.
Yeah, another question is how late was he out last night?
Interestingly here, James Franklin's decided to bowl left arm spin, believing this is a weakness of Brendan McCullum's. As he lobs one up to him. And McCullum finds the fielder at mid-wicket. You're disappointed and put that away.
Well, of course, Brendan McCullum on Sunday, he's back with the Heat as one of the Bash brothers.
This one is smashed away by McCullum. And it's hit Billy Bowden by the looks of it. It's still gone for 4, but it's got Billy Bowden in the ankle. And he's hopping around like a hot chicken on a roof.
Yeah, sort of a Riverdance sort of vibe to that. Is it Michael Flatley, was it?
Can I just clarify there, Jerry? A hot chicken on a roof or a chicken on a hot roof?
No, a hot chicken on a roof.
So the chicken is hot?
Yep.
And the
Look
roof
at
is...
this. Here he is here. He's jumped. And that would have hurt.
Yeah.
That would have hurt. And his glasses have gone flying as well. He didn't need that Billy Bowden in the ankle there. Probably someone needs to go up there with some ice. There's Franklin again coming around to McCullum so slow as McCullum goes back and turns it away on the leg side for a single. I do know though that people think that left arm spin is a weakness of Brendan McCullum's. I'm not sure. Well, there's a yellow card for Brendan McCullum for smashing Billy Bowden in the ankle.
Yeah, fair enough. And that'll be his warning.
James Franklin now is going back to bowling his medium paces to Beauden Barrett, who's looking to anchor the innings. Barrett's on 14 for 11 deliveries. 2 slips for Franklin.
Yeah, moving very much like a wet cat on a trampoline. At the moment at the crease.
Bowden Barrett moving like a, what was that, a wet cat on a trampoline?
You mean
or a cat on a
cat on a wet trampoline?
A cat on a wet trampoline? Or a wet cat on a trampoline?
No, a wet cat.
Here's Franklin again. This one's short and it's pulled away. Nice timing from Bodie Barrett. That'll be 4 runs. Lovely shot, actually. Just waited on it. How quick can Nathan McCullum bowl? That's the question. Here he comes. It's sort of an off spinner.
It's got that weird action, hasn't he? Kind of like a wet koala in a clothes dryer. Coming in, all arms. And
I thought it was more like a sort of a strangled rat in a sort of a vat of I don't know, maybe something like a vat of like
olive oil.
Olive oil, yeah.
To a degree.
I thought it was more like a bald dog at the top of an elm tree. But it was 4 in the end. Well played from Brendan McCullum. He'd fancy his brother, surely. I mean, he would have played him a lot over the years.
Well, they love each other, and he was distraught when he thought he was dead recently, and he's not, and that was an opportunity for them to bond. But he's given up the pace bowling.
Along at 7.94 at the moment, Team Rugby.
There's that action again coming.
And how would you describe that action, Lee Hart?
Kind of like a 3-legged hamster on a hot railway track.
Right.
A hot railway track or a hot 3-legged hamster?
This time it's driven beautifully by Barrett through the covers. That's an elegant shot from the All Black first 5. Split the gap, perfect placement, fantastic timing. Turns out he's a good cricketer.
You almost feel that Bowden Barrett is he's probably gained in confidence with McCullum out there now. He's got probably his cricket idol out there with him. And he's matching him 1 for 1.
He's just hit that beautifully below the eyes. He's waited for it to come on. He's picked the gap. That's a superb cricket shot. This time he goes straight back over his head. 4 more. This is good for Team Rugby as they move to 50. 50 for 2, and this is the 6th over.
Got to say, hell of a strike rate for Bowden Barrett. 26 off 15. He's a good player, obviously a great all-round athlete, but this is concerning for Team Cricket with one of their star bowlers, the Komodo Dragon, getting a bit of tonk.
What's he going to do? He's bowled him. He's bowled him. He's dragged it on. Just a little bit quicker through the air from Nathan McCullum this time. And a good innings from Bodie Barrett comes to an end. He's gone for 26. And Team Rugby now 50 for 3.
Yeah, just playing across it there. I tell you what, run rate creeping up around 9 though.
And Team Rugby, good run rate at the moment. Around about 8. And they're chasing, of course, 168. 8.57 the current run rate. Brendan McCullum in there. I mean, he's the key, surely. And I believe we've got Scotty J. Stevenson, who's standing by down in the players' enclosure. We're not going to go to Scotty right now.
I'm going to stand up for Harry too.
But it was an important look at that one, Matt Heath, because you felt like Bodie Barrett was just starting to get his eye in. He was starting to get his timing. I mean, what an athlete, really, to turn up against some pretty good bowling and smash it round like that.
Yeah, fantastic performance in the field as well, and he was on a high, but 26. Impressive stuff from Bodie Barrett. Impressive man. I was trying to talk to him when he came off the field, but he was talking to someone else. And he was quite new to chat, and I don't really know him, so he just walked past. But I'm sure if I talked to him, he had a lot to say.
Change bowler now with Chris Harris coming in. Immediately drops short, and Brendan McCullum smashes him behind square for 4. Good shot from Brendan McCullum. And you can't bowl that short, Chris Harris, to a man like Brendan McCullum. Chris Harris, who is the oldest player on the field at 74. Just dropping a little bit short early on, and he'll do that to you, Brendan McCullum. He'll put the pressure on you, because you know if you pitch up, he'll smash you straight back over your head as well.
Certainly showing his age with the hair arrangement there, Chris Harris starting to resemble a shiny new Duke ball without the seam.
Well, that kind of do is respected in the ball community. He's not trying to hide anything. He's happy with it. He's got the stooping going, and it suits him. And he's not going to try and fool you with the full shave.
I think he's looking good, Chris Harris, and he's got a good core on him. He's still playing cricket as he comes in again to McCullum, and McCullum smashes him again behind square for 4. Back-to-back 4s for the former New Zealand captain, and the pressure now coming on the cricketers.
Look, it is great to see Chris Harris back in action. As you say, he still plays. He's kept in good touch, and just seeing him, I wouldn't say it was steaming in, but come flying in is it takes me all the way back to the 1992 World Cup, Jerry, when he was so critical.
So not a good start for Chris Harris, you've got to say. 4-4. What's going to happen this ball as he comes in again to McCullum? This one's a bit fuller, and McCullum stands tall and drives down to long on. I think we've got Scotty J. Stevenson standing by with Beauden Barrett.
Thanks very much, Jerry. Bodie, not a bad innings from you, mate. Heart must have been in the mouth a couple of times there.
It was that first one that nicked through the keeper in first slip. I was pretty lucky, but after that I was just enjoying myself out there. It was good fun.
Surely Nathan McCullum gave you an earful out there after you clopped him for a couple of 4s.
No, he didn't actually. Franco was giving me a bit of stick, saying Millsy dropped that one short, and he actually talked about putting a helmet on too, so I wasn't too keen on that.
What did Brendan McCullum say to you out there?
What is the deck doing? I was like, it's bouncing, and that's about it.
The whole experience today, mate, what's it been like for you? I know you guys are getting into the mode now for Rugby World Cup later this year, but to have a day like this in Christchurch, has it been all you thought it would be?
Oh, it's better. Look, it's amazing. We've almost got a full stadium, if not a sellout. So, look, we're all cricket lovers. We're all fans of these guys, and just to face them or to bowl against them, it's a dream come true. So, quite pleased we're still in the hunt here with Bears out there, so it should be a good finish.
It's McCullum on strike, and he turns that one away again from Chris Harris, buddy. I know you want to go up there and get a drink on, mate. You worked a bit of a beat on there too. He was making you run quick singles.
Yeah, I was all for that. I said there's a couple of doubles out there, so let's go for it. But it was a pleasure to bat with David Hussey and Baz. Yeah, like I said, a dream come true.
Congrats on the wedding too, mate. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Right. Beauden Barrett, back to you, boys.
Thanks very much, Scotty. And he did bat very, very well, didn't he, boys? I was very, very impressed. The timing was there. I guess that's elite athletes, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a great New Zealander, no doubt about it. And what a great full head of hair. We were talking about Chris Harris before, the opposite end of the spectrum. What a beautiful do.
Not just that, but for a rugby player, he had a great cricketer's ass. Firm, taut buttocks of the kind that cricketers normally develop after years of playing.
So Team Rugby, 62 for 3. And McCullum's on 21 here.
Would you say, Jeremy Wells, advantage Team Rugby at this stage?
Well, what you want to be looking at there, man, Heath, is the wickets column. 3 down already, the rugby players. And New Zealand, the cricketers will be looking to get as many wickets as they can, because as we know, wickets slow the run rate down. And we also know catches win matches.
And we also know that Brendan McCullum is the key.
You get the feeling, don't you, that he's just holding back slightly at the moment.
Well, he dropped that reasonably easy catch after both Richie McCaw, the McCawsome Hedgehog, and Kieran Icehockers Reid took theirs. So he's got a bit to prove there.
Here's Boshier driving, but you can't beat Marshall. Just tying them down here is Nathan McCullum after making that breakthrough in the last over. Nice little lap shot by Boshier. They'll come back for 2.
Interesting prospect, this young man, Caleb Boshier, Jerry. He captained the New Zealand under-19 side. He's got a lot to prove out there, playing with his heroes, past and present.
He's also playing for the Chiefs as well, I believe. As he smashes McCullum straight back over his head, and over the rope it goes for 6. And that'll break the shackles for Team Rugby.
Well, welcome back to Hagley Oval, and Harry coming in now, bowling to Baz McCullum, and he just tucks this ball down to the man at mid-off. A nice bit of fielding there, and he'll come through for a single. I tell you what, lads, Bosher looks a beautiful batsman, doesn't he? He plays a nice straight bat, and that 6 down the ground off the Komodo Dragon was a magnificent shot. As Harry comes in again, bowling to Bosher, and he defends. And I've been very impressed, actually, Matt Heath and Lee Baker, with the techniques of the rugby players. Bodie Barrett played some lovely defensive strokes early on. He wasn't getting any runs, but he built on it throughout the innings, played a gem of an innings for the team rugby. As Bosher drives back to Harry, and there's no run.
Well, Callum Bashir, obviously he's going to make a decision at some point between cricket and rugby. It brings to mind players that have played for both codes.
Harry again to Bosher, who tucks this off his hip down to fine leg for a single. Doesn't it make you sick, all these multi-talented sportsmen, you know, that can play any sport, that can go in any direction?
Your Goldies, your Jeff Wilsons.
Yeah, you know, and you look at
your
these guys,
McKechnies.
and often they're really good-looking guys too. It's like God has granted them all the gifts of the world. As in comes Harry again, bowling to McCullum, who slaps this through cover for another single out to the man in the deep.
Of course, it's not really possible to play top-level rugby and top-level cricket at the same time these days. Jace, that era has passed, sadly, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And Lee Hart was talking about the fact that he was a very poor cricketer, plus a very poor rugby player. In the end, he went the path of having a few drinks as opposed to going either rugby or cricket.
Well, a much sort of easier decision to make, isn't it?
Well, very much so, Matty. And Bosher drives down to mid-on. There's no run. That's the end of the over, with Team Rugby doing very well at 73 for 3. Well, it's a beautiful evening. The sun is piercing the clouds at the moment, and the field is a sea of emerald, lovely green coming out on this gorgeous ground. Full house in, a great excited buzz amongst the crowd.
Well, Lee Baker, you were talking about Brian McKechnie, who played for both the All Blacks and the New Zealand national cricket side, famous for 2 controversial sporting incidents across 2 codes.
Absolutely, 2 very controversial moments. The underarm, of course, in Australia, February the 1st, 1981, he faced the underarm. Didn't choose to be in that moment. Wasn't his own doing. Just found himself at the centre of history. But of course, against Wales, again put on the spot when he had to convert to win a Test match. I think at Cardiff, after Andy Hayden took a fall in the line-out.
So the hairy jab is into the attack, and he floats this one up. Bit of an autumn leaf delivery there, and McCullum drives out to deep cover for another single.
Yes, 1978, he kicked the winning penalty after Andy Hayden just seemed to fly out of the row.
It was a terrible piece of foul play by the Welsh, wasn't it, Matty?
Yeah, I'm not.
This is driven by Bosher out to the man at cover, no run.
I think it was actually a poltergeist
that pushed Andy Hayden.
It just propelled Andy Hayden out of the line-out, and of course the referee awarded the penalty.
In comes the hairy jab again. Bowling to Bosher, who drives down to long on. They'll look for 2 and they'll get it comfortably in the end. I'm a little bit disappointed, chaps. We didn't see the McCullum brothers go head-to-head. One can only imagine the backyard battles those 2 must have had over the years, the fierce rivalry. And I know that Nathan was planning, if he was bowling to Brennan, he was going to bowl seam up at full steam. And this is an almighty swipe from Bosher, and there's no run.
Well, it appears that you've been spending a bit of time in the sports bar, because what happened was Nathan did bowl to Brendan, and he did steam in and attempted pace delivery, and he got smashed by his brother, and it was
humiliating for Nathan, one would imagine. This is cut away by Bosher out to the man at deep point for another single. Oh, yes, I did miss that actually. I was outside just getting a feel of the vibe of the place, seeing what the atmosphere was like in the crowd.
Well, it felt like there was a lot of love between the brothers, but yes, Brendan won that round.
So the hairy javelin again coming into McCullum. There's a big Yorker there, and that's the end of the over with Team Rugby 77 for 3.
Well, I'm here with Grant the hairy javelin, Elliot. Listen, you've got a bit of work to do, Jav. What's the plan from here?
There is. I mean, I tell you what, Bodie came in, played a beautiful innings, and we've got our work cut out here. These 2 put a nice little 27-run partnership together, both being quite aggressive. We saw that Nathan tried to get his brother with a few bumpers, chin music. That would be how we scouted him, but it's about getting him off strike and getting the new batter in.
So what is the plan with Brendan McCullum? Is it chin music? Who can actually do? Is anyone on the team can actually deliver any chin music?
No, I think the boys look a little bit broken, but if we can get the physios out there, maybe a few rub downs, maybe some rotation policy.
Yeah.
Rugby, that was a big thing at one stage.
So what's the consequences of you losing this match? Apart from just pure humiliation.
Pride. Yeah. It's
pride.
It's pride.
Total pride.
We've got everything to lose, nothing to gain here.
Yeah.
But we've got the inside oil. We've got Aaron Smith, old Nuggy over there, and I think he's going to provide a little bit of banter and maybe get inside their heads.
If you're interested,
What is that?
120 grit, and I got 60 grit. Okay. Back to you guys.
Well, a little bit of controversy there. I don't know if I saw that correctly, gentlemen. I'm thinking that Mike Lane may be suggesting to the hairy javelin that he use a bit of sandpaper on the ball. He had a couple of strips of sandpaper in the inside of his jacket there, and I don't know if that's acceptable at all.
He's essentially dealing.
Carl Mills has walked away from it, and yep, no one. This is Hamish Marshall's not having any of it. Oh no, he's. I don't like the look of this.
He's sticking it down the pants of Hamish Marshall here. This is just a disgrace.
This is not what you want to see in cricket.
There's a lot of kids in the crowd today. There's people watching on the television, and this sort of carry-on is an absolute disgrace.
It absolutely is, and that's going to be on the news now. And unfortunately, Mike Lane has drawn Hamish Marshall into this. He wouldn't have wanted to be in the position he's in now, and he's fully implicated.
Well, very much so. And Bosher and McCullum, of course, in all fairness, are batting well, but there's no need to resort to these sort of tactics.
That's just what's going on here. It looks like Mike Lane is not actually even leaving the field. Is he going to try and commentate this game?
Yeah, well, we've been having some
out
issues
on the ball, out on the field.
Some issues trying to talk to the players on the technical front, and he's out there. God, that moustache really is shocking, I have to say.
Can you hear me?
I mean, this isn't on. This isn't in the spirit of the game. We don't want.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mike. What the hell are you doing out there?
Get off.
I'm just bringing the game closer to the public.
Okay, so you're going to call from there.
Just going to let you know how things are going in here. It's mildly terrifying, to be honest.
Can you, bit of sledging maybe, Mike, get Bosher put off his game a little bit?
You've got more blocks than Minecraft.
You've got more blocks in Minecraft, Bosher.
And he comes as Harry, and he lofts him down the ground. It's in the air, but Franklin can't reach it. And he nearly provided the cursed Mike Lane. Bosher just lofted it down the ground, and a bit of niggle beginning to develop. Where's Hamish Marshall? I want to see if he's got rid of that sandpaper. Now he's gone into a weird leg slip position.
Well, Brendan said I'd kill you otherwise, so I moved.
So in comes Harry again. This is smashed down the ground, down the throat of James Franklin. Over there. Oh, no, one bounce for 4. It literally pitched about 2 inches from the boundary rope, and it's 4 runs to Baz McCullum. Lovely shot.
Well, is this it? Is this the moment that Baz McCullum unleashes, trying to push Team Rugby through?
Well, he's on 28 off 15 at the moment. Typical McCullum fashion.
Can we get that commentator off the field?
In comes Harris again. This is short. Elegantly guided out to the man in deep cover for another single.
We've got to ask the question of Mike Lane. What the hell is he adding at this point? We're not hearing any commentary, and he's certainly not fielding.
Yeah, I'm not offering much, to be honest, Lee Baker.
I'd actually like Harry, Mike, to bowl a full one down the leg side at full pace, especially given that you're holding a microphone at the same time.
Can you provide some analysis, please?
Harry comes in again and bowls to Bosher, and he launches into this, a massive 6 down the ground. Oh,
I can confirm it's a 6.
Man, this boy can bat. That was a magnificent stroke. Gloriously played. And Harry, he's a competitive unit. He won't be happy with that at all. He'll be coming back.
Well, it's a battle of the generations, isn't it? The 74-year-old Harris taking a bit of a pounding from the 19-year-old.
Harris again to Bosher, and in he comes, and this is Fuller and driven, and he beats the man at mid-off, and that'll race to the boundary for 4 as well. And Team Rugby at the moment doing this at a canter.
Absolutely, the 74-year-old Chris Harris. It's like a battle between a baby boomer and a millennial, and for once the millennial is getting somewhere.
Can't interest you, Ronks? Maybe just can't interest you? No? Just here, yep.
In comes Harry again, bowling to Bosha, and again down the ground, in the air, over the fieldsman for 6. Holy moly! What a shot again!
Well, there you feel like he's taking out some of that frustration of the younger generations around property prices and the capital gains that the boomers have gotten in their life.
Well, that was an absolutely magnificent shot. Now, Team Rugby 99 for 3. Welcome back to Hagley Oval. It's a partnership of 49, I believe, of how many balls was that, Stu? 31 balls, and so these two going along very nicely indeed. And Bosha, boy, can he bat. And they're not just, you know, roll the eyes into the back of the head and slog. They're beautiful cricket shots. So the hairy jab under pressure, and this is slapped by McCullum out to Hamish Marshall to deep cover, and he'll get a single. I just want to know if Hamish Marshall has got rid of that sandpaper that was handed to him by Mike Lane. Disgraceful.
Well, it's great to see Mike Lane actually coming off the field. It was distracting, and well, it was an innovation to have you know, one of us out there. I think it was not in the spirit of the game.
Hairy jab again. This is a slow ball down the leg side, and well, interestingly enough, not called wide by Billy Bowden. He must have got a little touch on that. Bosha.
Especially not in the spirit of the game when you start handing out sandpaper to people.
So the hairy jab again to Bosha, and he smashes this out to the man mid wicket, and he's caught. And so ends a tremendous knock by Bosha. 30 off 21 deliveries. And boy, he was something to behold, team.
Absolutely lovely shot, and this young man, Callum Bosha, has announced his arrival on the scene. I do hope he chooses cricket over rugby.
So Geordie Barrett comes to the crease, and I have to say, guys, that bat looks like a twig in his hands. And we were talking about the backyard battles of the McCullum brothers. You can only imagine the backyard battles of the Barrett brothers.
No question that Geordie Barrett is battle hardened.
Well, he's 6'5". He's close to 100 kgs. He's a big unit. We haven't seen him bat. Looking forward to seeing what he's got.
Well, he impressed in the field. A lovely bowling technique, a stunning bit of fielding too, and a pouncer from the hairy jab. He's fired up, and he had to dig it in about a foot in front of him just so that it would get over the head of Geordie Barrett there.
Yeah, classic jab. That's the jab's way of saying kia ora and welcome to the wicket.
I'm surprised he was able to bowl a bouncer, to be honest with you. He's probably put his back out as he comes in again. Bowls to Geordie. Oh, it's a lovely in-swinging delivery. Nicely defended by Geordie Barrett, and they'll get a single.
Matt Heath, what's your advice to Geordie Barrett? Should he just be noodling the ball around to feed the strike to Brendan McCullum so he can prepare to launch? Or should he be shooting for glory?
Well, I guess that's the responsible thing to do, isn't it? Brendan McCullum's the danger man in the team, danger man in any team that he's in, but I get the feeling that Geordie Barrett's the kind of guy that is going to try and clear the boundary.
I think you're right, Matty. This is a little inside edge there by Baz McCullum, and it's through to Ronke, and there's no run.
They're going at 8. They're going at 8.6. You know, they're going along nicely, but that four down with a long tail.
So the jab again comes into McCullum, who advances down the wicket and whips this off his pads just in front of square, and they'll scamper through for a quick 2, and well run. Nicely done. That's the end of the over, Team Rugby. 104 for 4.
Here comes Chris Harris. This time he's bowling to Geordie Barrett. He cuts, but can't beat backward point.
So you're Geordie Barrett. This is your chance to shine in cricket on the big stage. To answer your question before, Lee Bucky, he's got to go for it, because surely he wants to hit a 6 or hit some boundaries in this on this big stage.
Well, he's got to better his brother. It's all about sibling rivalry. He can't do worse than his brother.
Oh, he's gone through him, and that's the question. It's not like a reasonable shout, that, but in the end it was just a stifled appeal. Well, he just needs to provide assistance to his brother, to Baz McCullum, really, and bat in a partnership. That's just a looping delivery from Chris Harris, just not even arriving. Very hard to hit those.
Well, that's the responsible thing to do, Jeremy, but what I'm saying is, what's the fun thing to do in this situation?
It's well bowled by Harris, just tying up an end here. Got pasted early on, but he's come back well in the latter part of his spell here. He's a real competitor, the 74-year-old.
He's operating into a light northeasterly, which is giving him a bit of assistance and allowing him to get that lovely loop, even a little bit of flight and drop.
Yeah, well, being a native of Christchurch, Chris Harris, he knows that northeasterly like nobody else. This is cut by Baz McCallum and cut well out to the sweeper for a single.
Couldn't have a more experienced campaigner than Baz McCallum out there, of course. He's played for just about every T20 franchise going. Royal Challenge, Challengers Bangalore, Brisbane Heat, Chennai Super Kings, Kolkata Knight Riders, Kochi Tuskers Kerala.
This one's shorter and Barrett gives himself some room. Just dabs it into the offside. And that's the over, 107 for 4. Here's Harry Javelin now bowling to Geordie Barrett, who drives nicely through the offside. Up to Hamish Marshall. And earlier on we saw ACC and now Hodaki head G Lane go out onto the field and do some commentary. He also took a whole lot of sandpaper with him, and correct me if I'm wrong, team, but is the ball starting to reverse? I'm just seeing some late hooping swing, particularly from the jab. Does that just look like it just reversed a fraction?
Yeah, well, we clearly saw the jab taking the sandpaper. Some of the players refused and some of the players took it, and it was a terrible display by Mike Lane, and I think he's brought shame on our entire commentary team with that brazen attempt at cheating, facilitating cheating anyway.
It's good delivery from Harry Javelin, just a little bit quicker, tucked up McCallum. But McCallum 33 off 21.
Surprised that Billy Bowden didn't do anything about it. It was clear what was going on.
I'm just wondering if we're starting to see the effects now of that sandpaper. That's wide down the leg side.
I mean, we don't have a speed radar here, so we're running sort of the rough guess speed predictor. I mean, that was an incredibly slow delivery there from Grant Elliott. Took all the pace off it.
I say 103.2. This time Barrett goes back and just nudges it behind square for a single. He's trying to rotate the strike, get Brendan McCallum down that end.
Well, you were running a breathalyzer, weren't you? We couldn't get the speed radar, but you did get a breathalyzer off a police officer.
That's right. Well, we applied to the police to, as McCallum smashes the jab down to long on. We applied to the police to get the speedball radar, but it was a clerical error, and one of the administrators at the police got a little bit wrong, and then they ended up sending us the breathalyzer instead. I'm not quite sure how we used it. We have breathalyzed both teams, and everything seems to be above board.
It would be great if we could get the breath alcohol level up on the field, but we haven't managed to rig that up.
This one loops high in the air, and it's just going to fall short of a diving Nathan McCallum. And they come back for 2. Into the over, 112 for 4.
Really starting to come together.
There's Aaron Smith now into the attack. Just going to bowl his right arm slow mediums.
How good is Casual Street? How good is Casual Street these days? Walk down there and out over into the Avon. Beautiful situation down there.
See what Baz McCallum does to Aaron Smith, and he smashes him through extra cover for 4. Beautiful shot from Brendan McCallum. Didn't try and overhit it, just timed it superbly. Let's go down to the sideline where Scotty Joe Stevenson's waiting.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Yes, 2 very small men going toe-to-toe out there. Calum Bosher, what an innings that was, batting with Brendan McCallum. That's a step up, mate.
Yeah, it was. I never thought I'd be able to bat with Brendan McCallum one day, and to do it out here today, something I could tell my kids about. So.
You've got some great form as a cricketer. You captain, of course, the New Zealand under-19 team, but at the moment your sights are firmly fixed on New Zealand under-20 rugby, so quite the change.
Yeah, it was. Transitioned about March, April last year. I thought I'd give just a good crack, you know, so yeah, I'm excited, and ready to rip into some rugby. Done a lot of training now, so just hoping to get out there and start playing. So.
You're in the Chiefs environment, mate. I understand you're living with Brad Weber, so there'd be plenty of chat in that household.
Yeah, no, the chat was yes, a bit different there. But yeah, no, enjoying it, loving it up there.
A couple of big hits from you as well today, as we see the rugby team just keep ticking over the scoreboard here. Do you think you'd be knocking sixes over the park?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't even hold a bat for a couple of weeks before coming, so you know, preparation wasn't there. But slow start, but then got a couple out in the middle, so that was nice.
Well, mate, if it's any indication of your talent out here on the cricket field, we can't wait to see it on the rugby pitch, mate. So congratulations on a fine innings, Callum.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks very much, Scotty. It certainly was a great innings, guys, wasn't it? He timed the ball superbly, hit some fantastic straight sixes.
Yeah, this innings has been great all round, actually, only marred marginally by Mike Lane's behaviour. Just a bit of an update on that, fellas, the sandpaper gate. There is going to be an inquiry. We all need to be present. But hopefully we can put it to rest.
126 for 4. Team Rugby cruising here at Hagley Oval, 126 for 4.
But how much would a couple of wickets change that, Jeremy, or in particular this one wicket of Brendan McCullum?
He's been bowling well, Grant Elliott. This is his 4th over. He's just gone for 17 so far. Just nice little changes of pace, classic Grant Elliott. You've got to say, he's a man that just gets better looking with age, doesn't he, Grant Elliott?
Yes, he does.
He's got a real James Bond vibe to him, hasn't he? I'm surprised no one's approached him for the role. They're looking for a new James Bond.
Brendan McCullum goes down the track. Doesn't quite time this. He'll end up being fielded at long on. I was talking to him last night, actually, and he was saying that he is currently using a beard cream. So he's really trying to get the best out of his beard. He trimmed his beard yesterday. And yes, a new cream, which he said it's like an oil. It's like a beard oil, which I'd never heard of before, actually.
Yeah, I went to talk to Grant Elliott, and he just held his finger up and said, I've just got to go over here for a minute and then I'll be right back to you. And then he just walked over and stood about 2 metres away from me and looked the other way. Didn't seem to be doing anything at all, and then he didn't come back, and after about 10 minutes I just sort of slunk off.
Yeah, he does that.
It's a nice shot from Geordie Barrett into the gap, and Hamish Marshall will do the fielding there. It's deep cover.
Who are your favourite curly-haired sportsmen, Jeremy Wells?
Historically, or
of all time, all nations? You'd put Henry Nichols in there.
I would. One of them is actually playing now, and that's Kyle Mills. As McCullum tries to go down the track, just about takes out Geordie Barrett actually as it smashes it past him. Kyle Mills, I mean, what a wonderful head of hair he's got. I believe he's runs a very, very tight shampoo and condition regime.
Martin Crowe?
He ran a good
John
head of
McEnroe
hair at one stage. Yeah, John McEnroe. Quick single here, chance for team cricket, but in the end, no, I thought about an overthrow, but it wasn't there. End of the over for Team Rugby, 132 for 4.
Two for 4, and at the moment Brendan McCullum and Geordie Barrett putting together a very nice partnership indeed, and put them in the box seat, Lee Hunt.
Yes, so would I, JC. Been out there looking at the vibe, and it's great to see so many people out there eating hot dogs, having a few beers, sitting in the sun, picnics.
Yeah, beautiful, mate.
Breastfeeding, you name it, it's happening out there, and it's all good stuff.
Absolutely, as Kyle Mills comes in and bowls to Geordie Barrett, who tees off and hoiks him out to deep mid-wicket, but he'll just get the single.
And we've been talking about curly-headed sportsmen. Carl Mills, obviously a fantastic curly-headed sportsman. Also Hamish Marshall and Jack Lovelock.
Yeah,
won
he
gold in
great
the
curls.
1936 Olympics. Got given a tree by Hitler that's still
Bjorn
growing in
Borg.
Timaru.
Bjorn Borg had some great curls, as well as Mills comes in now and bowls to Baz McCullum, who cuts it out to the man at the deep cover region, and he'll get a couple of runs comfortably.
curly-headed sportsman Mike Whitney.
Oh yes, who could ever forget Mike Whitney? I think the thing I remember most about Mike Whitney was that Mike Whitney, when we were looking to win that test match in Australia, and Danny Morrison had him absolutely plumb LBW.
I think it was McDermott that he had absolutely plumb,
was it McDermott,
and Whitney was at the other end.
David Gower.
Oh, he had some lovely curly locks, didn't he? As in comes Mills again, and this is Hoyt in the air. There's a man underneath it. Will he take the catch? Yes, he will! Nicely taken backward of square, and the key wicket of Baz McCullum. It's been a great knock from the former New Zealand skipper. 48 he was, and it was Elliott out in the deep, the hairy jab, who took the catch off the bowling of Mills. Short, and he got a bit of a top edge on it, and the hairy javelin made some lovely ground, took a comfortable catch in the end.
Well, that changes everything.
It certainly does change everything, with Team Rugby now 135 for 5. They've looked really good and certainly not out of place at all as Mills comes in now. Bowling to Geordie Barrett, who defends. Oh, and he trickles onto his stumps, but he stops it and there's no run.
Well, it's up to Geordie Barrett now, the young giant, to anchor the innings and bring this home for Team Rugby.
Yeah, that's right, man. He's the key man. He's got to stay there for a few more overs yet. Ali Williams, of course, or Ali Williams, coming in shortly. Good to see him back.
Yeah, I get the feeling Ali Williams will just roll the eyes back into the back of the head and just have a bit of a heave, to be honest, as this is short and a slower delivery. Called wide by the umpire as Geordie Barrett doesn't make a connection.
Well, that helps the equation for Team Rugby.
136 for 5. Barrett is 13 off 16 and Spice yet to score.
It's interesting with Ali Williams. Everyone calls him Ali, like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
It is in fact Ali, isn't it? This is off the hip of Geordie Barrett and goes down to a short fine leg position. They'll get another single.
And apparently gets furiously angry if you say it to him. If you call him Ali.
Really? I was doing that all night.
Well, yeah, so was I, actually, in hindsight.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that issue, actually. I was just throwing in there to have something to say.
Well, they're bringing the field in now.
There's an old saying, isn't there, in cricket commentary, goes way back. If you've got nothing decent to say, just let the pitchers tell the story.
And this is played by Spice off his hip as well, and they'll get another single as the fieldsman heaves it in and nearly takes the head of Geordie Barrett. And so it's getting very tense now. 138 for 5. Yes, welcome back to Hagley Oval. Now, there's been some great player interviews throughout this game. If you want to hear those again by any chance, you can head to Radio Hodaki on the Monday morning show. I believe they're going to be replaying all of those interviews on Radio Hodaki. Coincidentally enough, a station that you work for, Matt Heath.
Absolutely. We'll have Stephen Fleming on there. We'll also have Baz McCullum.
This is on the breakfast show, is it?
On the breakfast show. We'll have Geordie Barrett. We'll have Israel Dagg and Richie McCaw, I believe.
So it's Aaron Smith now who bowls to Jason Spice, who cuts him out to a deep point for a single. Do you work at Radio Hodaki too, do you?
Yes, I do, Jason. I was going to say, Jason, to Matt about running all those, it kind of reeks to me of running out of content.
We'll also have Aaron Smith as well, and Kieran Reid, and Sir Graham Henry.
Well, it's interesting looking at Aaron Smith's technique, actually. He's like a cocked gun, isn't he? He just sort of, he stops as he's about to deliver the ball, loads up and then bowls, and he bowls a good handy full length, which the batsmen are finding very difficult to get away as this is driven down too long off for a single.
Like a shaved rabbit in a bus stop, isn't he? That technique he's got.
Shaved rabbit in a bus stop.
Just trying to, he reminds me of someone in the way he stops when he bowls, and this is smashed by Geordie Barrett down to long on, and a horrific misfield. And it'll be 4 runs. Perry is the guilty fieldsman. It was smashed down to her, straight to her, and she made a bit of a hash of that one. It was obviously hit very powerfully by Geordie Barrett.
She'll be getting the eyes from Aaron Smith. He won't like that. That'll mess with his economy.
Well, it's interesting. She had great technique, great form, traditional, made a bridge.
In comes Smith again, and he bowls to his All Black teammate Geordie Barrett, who slaps it out to deep cover for another single. They'll get another couple of runs. And at the moment, Geordie Barrett's going to have bragging rights in the changing room of the All Blacks. He's really taking to Aaron Smith at the moment.
Well, you know, they've got to go for it, though, don't they, Team Rugby? They can't sit around. They need to be scoring at a clip.
I'd still say they're in control of this match as Geordie Barrett goes down on one knee and launches it over long on for 6. Oh, what a shot. He just went down on one knee and lofted him beautifully down the ground. That is majestic. Well into the crowd too, and someone got a bit of a misfield and a clout on the head there as in comes Aaron Smith again, bowls to Geordie Barrett. Once again, he smashes him down the ground for another huge 6. And Team Rugby at the moment putting the pedal to the floor. 2 huge 6s, 10 to win off 12. Well, it's tight, it's tense. 10 to win off 2 overs, 12 deliveries. And at the moment, Team Rugby right on top of Team Cricket at Hagley Oval.
Well, Team Cricket will be squeaky bum time because it'll be vaguely humiliating to lose to Team Rugby, Lee Hart.
And that's right, death bowling over here for sure.
In comes Mills now bowling to Jason Spice, who tries to get this ball from outside off stump and whip it through mid-wicket, but doesn't really succeed. And there were 2 mighty 6s by Geordie Barrett in that last over off Aaron Smith. Lusty blows, lads. And I can imagine Geordie Barrett will really remind Aaron Smith of that pretty much every day they're on tour or overseas or in camp. As Mills comes in again, bowling to Jason Spice. Oh, and that's a clever shot. Outside off stump. He just played a very delicate late cut. And it races to the boundary for 4. Well, that was nicely played by Jason Spice. He just opened himself up, opened the face, guided it down to third man for a boundary.
And don't forget, the ACC will be bringing you the Black Caps versus India live on iHeartRadio tomorrow from 3 p.m.
So, 6 to win off 8. Mills again bowls to Spice, who gets an outside edge. It goes down to third man for another single. And, well, there was a lot of big talk last night from the rugby players, Lee Hart, and they're fulfilling their promise, aren't they?
It'll be interesting tonight, won't it? Post-match, the body language.
The 6s will be just that much bigger. The catches will be just that much better. The run-outs will be just that much more direct.
And how typical, if they do win, for a bunch of All Blacks to win.
Well,
perhaps they should have a game of rugby tomorrow.
We actually, that's the thing, we expect our All Blacks to win. It doesn't matter who they're playing or what they're playing.
Absolutely. It would be a very different situation if ex and some current cricketers came together and played the All Blacks at rugby.
Yeah, well, it's more of a physical game, obviously, isn't it? And, you know, you compare the average physique of a cricket player, Matt, to the average physique of a professional rugby player. Chalk and cheese. It's like me and Lee Hart.
Be good. This is probably going to be an annual thing, don't you think? Next year as well, or every 2 years, perhaps.
Quite possibly. It's been a huge success. The crowd has absolutely loved it.
It's been a fantastic day. Sold out here at the Hagley Oval. Absolutely beautiful.
Not sure what the delay is here at the moment. It's taking an age for Mills to bowl this ball. And he comes now bowling to the robust Geordie Barrett. He gives himself room and he cracks this out. The man in long on, and they'll get 2. That's nicely run. And so, let's have a look at the equation here. They need 3 to win. And 8 balls remaining. They're doing it at a canter, Team Rugby.
Yes, this isn't how it was supposed to go. It was supposed to be an absolute whitewash by Team Cricket. And Team Rugby have really turned up and shown some showing some skills.
You're dead right, man. This isn't how Stephen Fleming visualised it when he went to bed last night. What will he do different next year?
Well, he visualised everyone playing in the nude, he was saying this morning at breakfast.
Well, what he could do better this year maybe is to take those slip catches perhaps. Maybe he didn't really get started today, did he, the big fella? He's a lovely, elegant player to watch, Stephen Fleming. But that was a beautiful piece of fielding by the great Richie McCaw to dismiss him.
Well, they're not there yet though, are they?
Mills comes in again, bowls to Geordie Barrett, who gives himself room. Makes no contact with the ball through to the keeper, no run. 166 for 5, 169 for the win, 7 balls remaining.
I mean, anything could happen. Anything could happen. This game is not over.
Yes, I think maybe Mills needs to stuff a big, loopy, fat Yorker right into the block hole of Geordie Barrett. He's a big unit, and it'd be difficult for him to clomp down on the ball and have to go down from a great height.
Right at the toes.
Straight after this match, of course, we need to attend some sort of inquiry hearing about Mike Lane's behaviour on the field.
Disgraceful. So here we go. Mills bowling to Geordie Barrett, short and punch down to long on. He'll just get the single as Jimmy Franklin fields. That's the end of the over with Team Rugby 167 for 5. So here's the scenario. 2 to win off the last over. 6 balls remaining. Geordie Barrett has been batting beautifully. Geordie Barrett's impressed me hugely. His bowling was sensational. He effected an amazing run out from the deep, a direct hit on the stumps, and now he's proving himself as a great batsman as well, Matt.
Yeah, the family great cricketers and great rugby players.
What do you do though if you're James Franklin to prevent 2 runs being scored? Well, really, they want no runs to be scored, don't they? Because a draw is still a bit humiliating for the cricket team.
Absolutely. I reckon he just stuffs a big Yorker into the block hole. I've just got a feeling that Geordie Barrett would have difficulty clamping down on that. And, it's gone down to the last over. It's been brilliant stuff.
You can't help but feel they were slightly underestimated, weren't they?
Yeah, I felt the cricket players came out here to teach them a lesson with the bat.
Well, it's all about that winning mentality, Matt. You know, the All Blacks aren't used to losing, and it doesn't matter what they do. I imagine they still want to win. So it's going to be Jimmy Franklin bowling to Geordie Barrett, 2 to win off this last over. In he comes, bowling to Barrett, full, and he smashes this. And there's a huge dive out at mid-wicket, but it races into the boundary for 4. And that is a sensational victory for Team Rugby over Team Cricket here at the magnificent Hagley Oval.
Absolutely. Geordie Barrett, player of the match for me, Lee Hart.
Yeah, certainly Geordie Barrett, I think, great with bat, great with ball. Took a couple of catches, did he?
No, I think he took a couple of wickets, but I was really impressed with his bowling, and he did that stunning run out from the deep. But I believe now we're going to possibly cross down
I
to
think Scotty's just heading there. He's just heading there trying to...
Oh, is he heading there now? I thought I saw him down on the ground.
Pad, I think maybe pad for about 15 seconds, you'll be right. I can see him just arriving there, Scotty.
Are you saying I need to pad for 15 seconds?
Yeah,
we just need to pad it out. We just need to...
Lee, if you could pad a little bit.
Keep it flowing up. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Just if you could see something to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a great day here, of course. As I say, a lot of people showed up. Scotty looks like he could be ready, but we'll just keep it going for the moment.
We'll just pad a little bit longer. But
that was excellent padding from you, Lee Hart. You got any padding, Jason Hoyt?
Oh, look, I can pad till the cows come home.
Think about good padding, Jace. You're not supposed to notice that it's padding.
Yeah.
It just should be seamless and natural. I
well,
think
the
Scotty's
shadows
ready
are long here at Hagley Oval as as we,
Yeah,
we
no,
ready
that
to go?
sounds like padding to me.
Does that sound like padding?
Well, look, I'll tell you what we'll do, because we're beginning to sound like we're padding. Let's throw to Scotty Stevenson, shall we?
You there, Scotty?
Thank you very much, lads. That was great padding. Geordie Barrett, what a performance from you. We've got some striking scenarios going on here. He's trying to evade capture, but he can't do it. Mate, you've had catches, you've had run-outs, you've had wickets, and now you've got the winning runs. What about today?
Yeah, I was owing a few after my last over. I was spraying all over the place and getting hit to all parts, so it was just nice to get a couple out of the middle.
What a great feeling, though, to win this game. I know the cricket boys took it pretty seriously, but you guys did as well. And to hit the winning runs in the fashion you did, and a couple of sixes too. Pretty unfair on Azza Smith, I thought.
Oh, I had to get one up on Nuggie. I couldn't let him bob me down because I wouldn't hear the end of it. So, no, again, it was just nice. Awesome to be a part of this event, and hopefully there's another one next year.
Playing with the likes of Brendan McCullum, James Franklin, Luke Ronke, Grant Elliott, all the others here today. Is this something that you would have dreamed of as a boy, to get out here and be part of these cricketing legends?
Yeah, it's awesome. I follow the Black Caps my whole life, and our favourite sporting team, to be amongst them today was pretty cool. In between overs, I think I gave Brendan some advice, and I thought, what am I doing? Who am I to tell him what to do?
You need a well-earned break, I think, mate, but congratulations on a fine innings and a fine game today. I think the boys in the ACC think you may be player of the day, but we'll leave it up to a public vote for that one. Geordie Barrett, congratulations on the win, mate.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
We'll let Geordie get in there and bring in Luke Ronke. Wow, what a challenge, mate.
It was good fun, wasn't it?
It was really good fun. Now, you had the earpiece in for part of that innings at least, so you would have had your eardrums punished by the ACC as well. Interesting combination upstairs in the commentary box, but what about the vibe here? 8,500 Christchurch folk arriving to watch you guys play. Awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. The crowd were fantastic. I mean, that's the reason everyone's here. I mean, I'm here for the same reason. You get to see some amazing rugby players, amazing cricket players and stuff like that, sort of all mucking around together really for a bit of fun, so it's been good.
Now, I don't think you guys were quite counting on being clubbed over the fence a few times by the likes of Caelan Bosher and Geordie Barrett. You probably could have expected it from Baz McCullum, but those two boys in particular really stood up.
They did, actually. I mean, they hit sixes at the right time, didn't they? And they weren't little sixes either. They clubbed them a long way. So, but that's cool, though. That's what you want to watch and see at sort of T20 cricket. So it was a nice finish. Got down to the last over, so it was good fun.
You think the crowd's had a good time?
I certainly hope so. I have, so I can't see why they wouldn't have.
I know you're going to enjoy a cold one tonight, mate. Congratulations. Lovely to see you out here again, and we've enjoyed your career, and so hopefully we'll get you back for next year.
Sweet, thanks, mate. Hopefully too.
Tonight, Team Rugby has beaten Team Cricket, and I'm with ACC and our Hariki head G Lane, and nobody expected that.
No, not at all. I think looking at winners and losers, I would say you're looking at the Barrett brothers. Geordie Barrett, what a player. Opened the bowling and brought it home with a couple of lusty blows. Obviously, there's Caelan Bosher. What a young talent he is, playing for the Chiefs. Also the under-19 cricket team, captain of the under-19 cricket team too. So a lot of talent out there, but I've got to admit, Jeremy, I've had a chat to a couple of the cricket players. Not happy.
They look a little bit disappointed. Let's go over now to Scotty J. Stevenson with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Jerry, to everyone who joined us here at Hagley Oval today. Thank you very much for coming out and making this such a special occasion. And for those of you who have watched live on TVNZ, we thank you for your viewership. We trust you've had a great day. We certainly have here. It is time now to present this wonderful trophy named after Jonah Lomu and Martin Crowe, two of our late great sporting heroes. We'll get to that in a moment with presenting sponsor Hot Spring Spas and their representative Aaron Sampson. Before we get to that though, it gives me great pleasure to call to the presentation area Stephen Fleming, captain of Team Cricket today. Flem, not to be, but a heck of a game and a great occasion.
Yep, great occasion. Really proud of the turnout. We hope by having it here that people would respond to the fun aspect of it and to see players courageously doing things that they haven't, the public haven't seen them do before. And I think they got that. Some of the fielding by the All Black boys was outstanding. Some of the hitting. And some of the rust and dust from former players. So, look, I hope it was a good day's entertainment. It was nice to be out here in a beautiful oval, and we had some fun. Disappointed with the result. Thought we'd manipulated and managed it well, but just like a classic All Black test, they got us at the end.
They certainly did. Now, I did see you in the players' room after your brief innings today, icing up your toe. Have you had a word with Izzy Dag about what damage you may have done?
I haven't been able to get a word in. He's been telling me about it. So that's probably the thing that's going to hurt the most is the media from him and the texts and the photos. So that's just a byproduct, I guess. I didn't play it well enough. Probably wasn't out, was it?
It was plumb, Flem. I think the world knows that. Mate, we wish you all the best for the rest of the Big Bash League as well. I know you've got to head back to Australia tomorrow, so good luck with that campaign. thank you for what you've done here today. It's been a great event, and I'm sure you've enjoyed locking horns with a few of your old teammates too.
I have. Thanks for your support. Cheers, mate.
Stephen Fleming, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll call in Kieran Reid, captain of Team Rugby. I guess, Rito, everyone would like to say congratulations on your first victory of the year. Must feel good, buddy.
Yeah, it does feel good. I think we turned up today not really knowing what the event was going to, show to us, but the crowd that turned up was fantastic, and we've just had a great time getting to know these cricketers, and obviously to get a win, mate, that's the most important thing.
I know there were some nerves earlier amongst the rugby boys because you are coming up against some of the most well-known names in our game, but did those nerves settle throughout that batting innings?
I don't think they really settled the whole time. It's interesting, eh? You go out here in front of a lot of people every day, but doing it with a willow in your hand, and well, it was different, but the guys really enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic event. Everyone's had a great time, and the heroics of some of our men at the end there was awesome.
I know you've got a personal highlight with your catch off Richie McCaw's bowling earlier in your fielding innings, but what about Geordie Barrett at the end of that game?
Yeah, Geordie was fantastic. I think he gifted about 20 runs in that last over, so he had to make up for it. So, the clean hit and he showed, mate. I think there might be some people calling his name soon from the cricketers.
Well, Kieran, I know you're no stranger to lifting trophies and cups, so I'm going to step out of the way and I'm going to call on Aaron Sampson from Hot Springs to present you for the very first time with a Lomu Crow Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the Hot Spring T20 Black Clash for 2019 Team Rugby. Congratulations, Team Rugby, and now let's head back to Jeremy Wells.
Thanks very much, Scotty. And you have to say, the turning point you would think for Team Rugby was actually probably the announcement of Brendan McCullum and their team, don't you think, ACC and Hariki Hajilane?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I don't know what kind of psychological damage that did to the to the cricket team, losing Brendan McCullum, but I think he was the swing vote really in that middle order, coming in and scoring a quick 40-odd. It took the wind out of the cricket players' sails, and you've got to give credit to the rugby guys. They surprised me. They're good cricketers. There's some good cricketers in there, good bowlers. Israel Dagg, he proved that he could bowl 145 Ks back in his day. Bend the back, came in. He's got a good-sized cricketer's rear end as well, and that's important for a fast bowler. And Izzy Dagg, he certainly did have one of those. So, look, great spectacle, huge upset. But look, it's going to be a good night tonight, I'm sure.
Congratulations, Sir Graham. Another win, another one in the bag.
Oh, it was fabulous. What a fabulous day. Everybody stood up. The rugby team, it's all in the selection, I reckon.
Well, you used your rotation well. It's something you've become well known for.
Well, yeah, I was just so pleased with the guys. They've got some talent and they produced it out there. So it's quite a little competitive game. I'm delighted for them.
I'm delighted for you because you look like you've actually had a bloody good day yourself. And Razor Ray's had a good day as well. You've been out there amongst your fans here in Christchurch. Ray, have you enjoyed the change-up?
Yeah, I mixed it up. It was good to walk the boundary. I couldn't run on the field with the knees being gone, so it was good to connect, get a bit of dancing going with the local crew, and just a great day, great spectacle.
It's a bit of a break for you too because you're in full swing with pre-season at the moment. So are these days pretty good for the mind just to get away from rugby for a little bit?
Yeah, to clear the head and reconnect and meet some of the cricket guys. It's great. Obviously, Flynn brought me in for my motivational skills, and they worked for about the first 10 overs, and then I had to disappear. But the connection and the actual concept is bang on.
If you'd actually played Rays, they might have won,
Well, it's a good point, actually.
Yeah. But I tell you what, it cost me a lot of money to get McCullum, and I think that was the turning point. He played with some discipline for a change.
Did you tell him to?
Well, I told him I didn't want to see him until we had victory in sight.
I tell you what, Geordie Barrett's really the one who got away too, isn't he? Because I know you wanted him for the Crusaders, Ray, but he's really showing his worth out there.
Well, he's only one. Probably should have stayed too. Yeah. Look, on a serious note, those couple of sixes, Nuggies, he's got a stump in his mouth somewhere around the ground. He's pretty upset about that occasion. That was a turning point. It's the only rugby player in the team.
He picked the right guy to attack, didn't he?
He did.
Well, yeah.
He's got a few brains.
Obviously TJ Perinara had slipped a couple of dollars in his pocket as well at the same time. Richie McCaw's joined us as well. How'd you find that, mate?
Oh, I was pretty happy, It's probably low expectation of winning, really, but pretty happy.
You had none?
No pressure. Pressure was a privilege. We had no pressure, no expectation.
It's amazing, though, you see the boys, they sort of blow it off, but they're pretty competitive, especially our boys. They were chasing everything. It's good.
Yeah, I see Jim's here as well, and your little bub's here too, mate. So you've had full family support today. Was it nice to get back into a competitive environment like that?
Yeah, it was quite good actually. You know, as much as you sort of say you didn't think too much about playing in front of a crowd, it's quite nice being out there, something different with people watching.
There
so,
you go, still there. It's good, mate. You know, you got to keep it up. Yeah. He's striking.
I'll finish up with you. So Ted, what's next for you?
Well, I'm not sure. Probably a big fish. You know, off the kayak, you know. On Monday, we're due for a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're due to catch a fish. I still haven't seen a single fillet, and you've been out there fishing for about the last 6 years. So.
Well, you're a hard man to get hold of.
Razor, pre-season, mate. You're going to wrap that up, mate, and get straight into it.
Yeah, look, it is. We climb into it, play the Hurricanes next week, but I'm just privileged to, you know, be in the opposition again to my protege here, Richie, that I obviously brought through over my career, and it's good to see you doing well and being a dad, and well done, mate. You're going good. Proud of you still.
I'll leave you there, boys. Richie McCaw, Scott Robertson, Sir Graham Henry. Thanks for your time. That's us.
Thanks very much, Scotty. What a one! I mean, I'm talking about that amazing catch by Richie McCaw.
Yeah.
There's some great fielding from the rugby players tonight.
Oh, safe pair of hands. You also had Kieran Reid and Bodie Barrett looked safe under the high ball as well. Maybe it is. Both of them were from behind almost, running back like that way. So it's obviously the rugby players are used to taking the high ball or the kick-off. It reminded me of that, but some great catching and probably swung it for them, really.
The only embarrassing thing was probably you with the sandpaper, to be fair.
Yes, this is true. I apologise to my family for that. It was very disappointing. It was a gag that went astray, so I apologise.
Sad end to what was a great day from the whole team here. We wish you a very good night.